This is FAI TV coming to you, well, kind of live from the UCD Bowl. This chat recorded with the two managers a couple of days before this SSE AIRTRICITY League Under-19 final between Bohemians and St Patrick's Athletic. Jamie Moore, a voice that you'll be more than familiar with on League of Ireland coverage, is actually the Under-19s manager of St Pat's, and Gavin Teahan is the Under-19 managers of Bohemians. Gentlemen, how are you both?
Great, Oisin, yourself?
Yeah, good. Good, thanks, Oisin. Very good.
Can't complain. Jamie, first of all, how good is it just to plain and simply get to a final, given the year that has been?
It's fantastic. Like at the very start of the year, when we all came back for pre-season on the 4th or 5th of January, the aim for all the teams would have been to be in the final, which we thought would be probably the end of October, start of November time. And it's now in Christmas week, which I think is in itself quite cool and quite unique that we're playing in a final 2 days before Christmas, which is something that never really happens in the League of Ireland. And, you know, given all the doubt and the amount of times this season where we didn't think we'd get one game played, never mind get the groups done, get the elite phase done and get to a final for the players themselves. And it's about them. And you know, come 7:30 on Tuesday night when the first whistle blows, how excited both teams will be, all their, you know, friends and families and parents. And of course, us as the coaches, it's really exciting. It's where as a football person you want to be. And we all can't wait for it now.
Gavin, I know you want to win. I know all your players want to win. But just given the year that has been, how important was it to just get out and play? I'm sure it's a massive bonus that you've got to a final. I'm sure it's something you're desperate to win. But getting out to play, that was the key thing, wasn't it, this year? And I guess we appreciate that more than ever before.
Absolutely. You know, we've been affected just as everybody else has been. We're probably luckier than most in that we've trained and played a lot more football than some clubs. But yeah, one of our objectives was to try and get to a final. But this year has thrown up so many challenges. We've actually achieved so many other things that we probably didn't think we would throughout the year. So yeah, it's fantastic to be playing. Always good to play, no matter when that is, and no matter what the context. So the fact that it's a final is a bonus. But we're just delighted to be involved, and I know certainly the players are really looking forward to it.
That's a good point you've raised there, that you weren't just concerned with results, you were concerned with other things. Talk to me about those other things. What did you get to do that you wanted to get to do? What was important that you actually managed to get done?
Yeah, well, for us, I got involved with the Bohemian Under-19s only a year ago, so we would have met the players for the first time last December. So, you know, our main objective was to get to know them, get to understand what we were going to try and achieve as a group this year. None of us knew COVID was going to hit around March time, so we laid out the year in terms of what we'd hoped to achieve. We've achieved that and more. In a strange way, COVID has helped us probably get to know the players a little better, in that we've all got very used to using Zoom and doing things in a different way than maybe we had done previously. I found it very good this year that we got to know the players probably socially better than we would have done in the past, because we had a lot of downtime in the breaks and kind of forced us to think outside the box a bit and do other stuff with the guys. So we started to do, you know, social tasks and cooking challenges and gym sessions and all kinds of other stuff. So it was great in that respect, in that we probably did get a better understanding of the guys, not only as footballers, but just as people. But that was good. And so for all the bad about not playing and not training, there was some good to come out of it. And it is great, as Jamie said, just to be able to finish out the year with a game against a really good side, and we're really looking forward to it.
And we'll talk about the game itself in just a moment. But Jamie, you have got most of the badges at this stage. A lot is covered in these coaching courses, and they're really good. They go in depth. But one thing that they maybe haven't covered or didn't cover is how to handle this situation. And Gavin, I think, has raised a really good point there, that this gave coaches a chance to maybe get to know their players. And that's a really important thing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Like I found as well, trying to keep in contact with them to let them know what was happening was very important. And, you know, with all the stuff on social media over the last 8 or 9 months, there's been so many rumors and different people, and the lads themselves talk, and, you know, not just the lads at St. Pat's, the lads at St. Pat's or Bohemians, there are a lot of them are friends away from football, and one club might hear one thing and then one club might hear another thing. So I found it very important to try and just keep in constant contact with them when we knew for sure what was happening, because there was no point in listening to rumors or possibilities, because that doesn't really help anyone. And I just thought it was important to let them and their parents and their families know, listen, this is what we know now is happening, and if that changes, we will let you know. And we've been lucky through all of it, bar the first main lockdown, we were able to continue to train in the pods with all of the COVID guidelines. And even though at times we didn't have football matches to prepare for at the end of the week, we were able to do different things in the week and even in the training sessions to make them fun and make them competitive. And, you know, as Gav said, we'd be quite similar. We were doing Zoom sessions with them in terms of trying to keep them fit. We also did a couple of FIFA competitions, some football quizzes, and, you know, even simple things like there was one day we were doing a Zoom in the very early part of the thing, and the lads were doing burpees or push-ups or something, and I'm sitting in the house looking at them all on the screen, and next of all I see one of the lads being literally like attacked by his own dog in a nice way. The dog he was doing on the ground, and the dog was on top of him, licking him and jumping on him, and we actually had to stop the call to have a laugh at him because he couldn't get his dog to leave him alone. And all of that stuff you would never normally see, because you'd only ever see them in the gym, you know, on the training pitch or at the games, and maybe if you were doing a go-karting thing at the end of the season or a golf day or whatever. So from that sense, you know, it was nice to see them away from, you know, the football pitch. And you know, I think all the players across all the teams have just done so well to adapt to what we all learned was the new normal, and we were giving them runs to do per week, and they had to hit a certain distance. And the Zoom sessions, I don't think anyone would ever want to do a burpee again after doing them for so long in their front room, but they did it. They got on with it, and when they came back to us, I'm sure Gav was the same. They were fit, they were ready to go, and they were hungry to, you know, get kicking a football with their mates again.
Yeah. And Gavin, like, this generation lost so much during lockdown. You know, people like us, we've got to do the missing in your 20s. We've got to do the college thing. We've got to do an awful lot. So even though, you know, all generations are missing out on some things, we got that time when we were late teens. This generation, unfortunately for them, for this year, they've lost out on devs. They've lost out on, you know, that first kind of couple of months in college. They've lost out on just social interaction. So how important was it to have football as that social outlet? How important was it to have that one thing that maybe gave them the feel of normality?
Yeah, it's a really good point. It was very important to have something to focus on. As you said, like, they're all from families, and some of them work, some of them are in college. They all have things away from us, but football is important to these young men, as it is to most kids who play football. So it was interesting to see throughout the year that, you know, at times their motivation levels were up and down. Naturally, they were affected like everybody else in terms of when they had to stop playing or training for given periods. But to be fair, throughout the year, it didn't take them long for that motivation level to kind of spike and get back again once they got going again. And I have to say, our own group's engagement throughout the year has been incredible. And they're very good footballers, but more than that, they're very good people. And they've been a pleasure to get to know this year. And sadly, some of them will be leaving us this year and going on to hopefully bigger and better things. But I think it's a fitting end for some of them just to get an opportunity to play in a final against a very good side, and let's see where that takes them. But overall, for the year, they've been an absolute credit to themselves and to their families. It's been great to work with them.
And it is, as you say, a very important time for them, because some of them will want to move into the senior squad. Some of them will want to play senior football. Some of them maybe don't quite know what's coming. Some of them, you know, they might play football socially, but they might want to concentrate on other things. So it is a really important time and big time for them, isn't it? It's kind of a decision-making time in some ways for some of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, the good thing for me, I've been around football a long time. It's good to see that there are clubs out there like Bohemians, like St. Pat's, who are bringing young players through their pathway, giving them opportunities to get into the League of Ireland. And if not at those clubs, helping them to find clubs elsewhere. And some of the kids now are starting to explore other options as well. So the UK has always been talked about as an option to play, but now we're looking at players going to America and going to scholarships and doing education in Ireland better, and some of the colleges in Ireland becoming better equipped to help these kids to move on to the next level. So at the end of the day, a lot of them are still 18, 19 years of age. In relative terms, they're still quite young. You know, they've a lot to learn. And as you said, some of them will now decide that football may be just a social hobby from here on in, and they'll concentrate on their education or their working lives or whatever it is. And all we hope is that we've brought them to a point where they understand their options and they get good support from the likes of ourselves and the people around them, and that they just go on and live a decent life, you know, whether that is in football or not.
And Jamie, how important is it? And I don't want to kind of maybe go too far down the road or too deep into this topic, but how important is it that they can now look at Ireland as a viable option? It used to be a case for footballers that it was the UK or nowhere, whereas now, you know, you can get a good contract if you show well. You can play your way into a position of getting a move to England a little bit later in life when you're a bit more mature and you can handle it a bit better. I know it's not your sole focus as a coach, and I know for some of these players it may not be their sole focus, but it is an important element that they don't feel they have to go to be a successor. They don't feel that, you know, the only option is that playing to the UK.
Yeah, and I think the main thing I would say about that is they can also, if they wish, continue their education here. And that for me is very, very important that, you know, if they go to England at 16 or they stay here, that they do have an education side to their life, because football won't last forever.
Yeah.
They might get injured, something might happen, they might fall out of love with the game, they might get released in England after 3 or 4 years and come back and decide not
Yeah.
to play. And, you know, there's mixed reviews about English clubs and the English system in terms of how good or how bad the education is there. And if lads do come home, is it actually good enough to even get them into a university here?
But even the perception, Jamie, now has changed, which is a good thing in a sense that people used to think if a player didn't go to the UK, well, obviously they weren't. Now people know that is not the case. That, you know, you can be a successful footballer staying in Ireland. And yeah, you might go to the UK or you might stay, but the option is there. And that perception has changed, which is a really important thing.
Yeah, it definitely has. And I think that's been down to the hard work of the clubs and the FAI as well, because, you know, a couple of years ago when I first started in the league in 2011 or 2012 with UCD, there was only an under-19s, and all the schoolboy clubs, myself and Gavin have been involved for years in some of the best schoolboy clubs as well, have done fantastic work, you know, with the players across the years. But I think the League of Ireland going to 17s in 2015 and then going to under 15s and then going recently to under 13s, you know, if it's done properly, it does give a 12-year-old player a real chance to be in a proper elite environment for 6 or 7 years. And then they can jump into the first team, hopefully. And then if they're doing really well and they play 2 or 3 years and they get 60 or 80 senior games under their belt before they're 20 or 21 and they get their few quid and they have a degree possibly from college and they have a proper senior CV, then they're going to the UK. And a great example this week is someone who Gavin would know well from Bohemians and Danny Grant, who is still in Maynooth and I think is planning to finish off his degree and has now gone to Huddersfield on a long-term contract to go and play in their first team. And, you know, St. Pat's have had lots of players like that as well. We've both also had players who've left at 16 and we wish them well, and some of them are doing great in the UK. And I think it's a very individual thing, but especially now as well with the whole stuff around Brexit, and it's really unclear at the moment if from next year, if young kids will be able to go at 16. And if they can't, I believe that there's a really proper alternative, training 3, 4, 5 times a week, gym sessions, video analysis, and proper good games for him to play at the weekends as well.
Well, that's a discussion for another time, but I do remember back in 2016 someone telling me you had to have a degree to get into the Dundalk team, and when you actually looked at the squad, they all had degrees, they were all incredibly well qualified, and it was great to see that, you know, there was a bunch of guys who were doing great things, and obviously they qualified for the Europa League group stages that year, but they all had something to fall back on. Anyway, that's a discussion for another time. Gentlemen, let's talk about the game itself. Gavin, how has your team's form been on the way to the final?
For the year in general, it's been good, albeit we haven't played many competitive games. I think we've only played 7 or 8 competitive games, and we've tried as best we can to play, you know, train away and play in-house stuff where possible, you know, keeping in mind all the COVID guidelines. But so it's been a little bit stop-start. And so we played on Friday evening against Shells, a very tough competitive game against them. But prior to that, we hadn't played a competitive game for, I think it was about 10 weeks. So, you know, it was very hard to get or maintain any kind of rhythm or form coming into this. But it is what it is. You know, Pats are in the same boat. But as I said, overall for the year, the boys have been just fantastic. So I just hope they give a performance on Tuesday night, do themselves justice, and then regardless of the result, we'll be more than happy with them.
Jamie, what about St. Pat's form?
Yeah, I would say quite similar to Gavin. We've played 8 competitive games, so 6 matches in the initial group stage, which was earlier in the year in the summertime. We actually had Bohemians in our group. We played them twice in 2 really, really good games. And what I love about playing the games against Bohemians is that both teams just play to win the match. There's no, you know, in certain games where you'd be going to a team and they'd know that if they pressed you high or whatever they might do, that they'd be beaten quite heavily. Whereas for ourselves and Bows, it's, in my opinion, a 50-50 game, and both teams play football the right way, but we go to try to win the game. We beat them 4-2 away. They beat us 5-4 at home in a mad game. I think we were 2 down, 2 all, 4-2, whatever. I think we were 2 up. I'm not sure what it was. Got back to 4 all. Then Bows won it late, and they were proper, really, really good games for all the players because they're actually being tested and they're going into the 85th, 90th minute with the game on the line, which I think is so important for them. And then we had the break, and then in the elite phase, we beaten Shamrock Rovers 4-1 in a really good performance in the first game of the elite phase. And then the second lockdown happened, and our next game was on Saturday just gone, where we drew with Waterford to get through to the final again. First game in 10 weeks. And you could see that in the players that they hadn't been playing week on week. And I think every player's in the same boat. Ideally, you would have liked to have a 4 or 5 week lead in of games into a final to get match fitness, but that is not the way it is, and we're both just going to have to try and deal with that the best we can, and the players obviously will do that to their best ability on Tuesday night.
Gavin, I won't ask you the tactics for the game because Jamie is listening, but I will ask you what your advice to your players would be for this game.
For me, it's very simple. Just to treat it like any other game, as we've done all year, and just to go out and play the way that we know the players can play. You know, we like to play, as Jamie said, an attacking style of football to go and win football matches. So we just hope that they do that on Tuesday. And as I said, you know, it is under 19 football. We're trying to prepare them for the senior game and beyond, but it still is an important development stage. So the winning and the losing isn't the most important thing. I guarantee if you ask all the players, they all want to win, you know, so that's really understandable. But from a coaching point of view, if we get a level of performance out of the guys, considering all the hiccups and challenges we've had to get to this point, I'd be more than happy with them. As I said, regardless of what happens with Tuesday night, we're extremely happy with them. Where they've come from in a year has been exceptional to see that journey. But look, they're a good bunch of lads, as are the Pats guys. You know, as Jamie said, the players know each other well, and we've a lot of respect for Pats, and I just hope it's a good game.
And Jamie, I guess your team are focused, and I heard you say in the build-up to the under-17 final that you love that couple of minutes before kickoff in any game where, you know, guys are just focused and you can kind of look into their eyes and see almost that kind of eye of the tiger.
Yeah, I must say that's one of my favourite parts about being a football manager, is that few moments before kickoff when the warm-up is done and the team talk is done, and you know, they have their music on. And Oisin, in this day and age, and I'm sure Gav will say the same, when you go into an under-19 dressing room, it's like you're going into a nightclub in Ibiza. They have the music that loud, and they're all having rows with each other over what music to play. And
they're all on TikTok, I presume.
Well, we have a rule that the only phone allowed in the dressing room is the music phone, and the rest of them can't have their phone. So, and of course with COVID now, I think we'll probably be split across. Each team will have 2 dressing rooms, so it'll be a little bit different. But yeah, I do love that moment when you can just sense the focus. And listen, the game itself and the final and the fixture, like for me in my career, this is my 6th season at Pats. I was with the 17s for 4 years and the 19s for 2. St. Pat's against Bows is the game and has been the game whereby the players don't need much in terms of motivation. Yes, we give them a game plan and we give them tactics and we give them set pieces, but yeah, you kind of know and you can look at them and you can just see, yeah, they're ready to go. But the other team, you know, in Bows will be the exact same, and there's no question every player on that pitch will be 100% wanting to win and committed to win. So, you know, both teams are the same. But yeah, I do love that moment when you can just go, the lads are ready, we're ready, and let's go and give it a crack.
Lads, have you any question you want to ask each other? Any maybe tidbits you want to find out off each other?
Well,
no, to be fair, I think we know each other pretty well. As Jamie alluded to earlier, the 2 games throughout the year were 2 crazy games. And I would imagine for a neutral, very entertaining games. Like, you know, 6 goals and 1 and 9 and another, whatever. It was crazy games. But you know, I'm just hoping, as I said earlier, for a decent game, a competitive game. I'm sure it will be. And then regardless of who wins it on Tuesday, I think both sides can look back and say they've had a decent season.
So I can't drag you into a gloves are off style boxing weigh-in, pushing up on each other or anything like that. No,
not for me.
No. Not your style. Gentlemen, I really appreciate your time. Gavin Tehan of Bohemians and Jamie Moore of St. Pat's. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for Jamie. Gav. Best of luck.
Thanks, Jamie. Best of luck.
Welcome along to the UCD Bowl for the SSE AIRTRICITY League Under-19 League Final. Tonight, it's the turn of Bohemians and St. Patrick's Athletic. We had a shower of rain about a half an hour ago, and it's made the pitch that bit zippier again. It's fairly solid underfoot all the same. It's in very good condition, especially when you consider that last night the under-17s played on it. Bows looking for 2 wins in a row. They were successful against Shamrock Rovers in the Dublin Derby last night. They hope to get the better of St. Pat's in a Dublin Derby this evening. Kickoff is at 7:30. Tonight we've brought along a bona fide SSE AIRTRICITY League legend to talk us through this and give us the best analysis. Paul Ozam, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Oisin. That's a nice introduction you've given me there. I hope the night continues like that.
Well, I've been talking to a Pats fan today and he said I need to say nice things about you, and I have no problem with complying with that. What kind of game are you expecting tonight? Of course, you know a lot of these lads from your role as Ireland's under-16 manager.
Yeah, I've had a fair number of the players come through my hands over the last number of years. Been lucky enough, some really talented players on both teams. It's good that you mentioned the pitch, because both of these teams will try to play. They'll try to play. You won't see too much direct football here. It'll be build up, patient build up. They'll both, I think, play a 4-2-3-1 formation in possession. They may join in with the 10, in the final third, but that'll be the basic formation for both teams. They're very expansive teams, both of them. Particularly Pats. I know a fair bit about Pats, and they'd be a high risk inside, but they get great rewards for the risk they take. But on the other hand, you can be caught out then if you commit too many men forward. So I'm expecting to see goals. They've shared 15 goals between them in the two games they played this season. A 4-2 win for Pats and a 5-4 win for Bohemians in the other game.
Two very entertaining games. If we get anything like that this evening, we would be very, very happy. Both of these teams looking to get their hands on the trophy. Kick-off in a couple of minutes' time. We'll take a look at the teams in just a moment, but it's about who seizes the day here, isn't it? We saw it last night. Bows went for it from the start and they were rewarded, and Rovers just could never peg them back.
Yeah, in games where everything's at stake in the one night, it's always a case of that. Who can start the best, who can start the strongest, who can get a grip of the game. That can be massive. The first 10-15 minutes of any game are massive, but particularly in these one-off games, and you'll expect to see it start really, really quick, a really high tempo, and both managers will be looking to see, can their team get a hold in the game.
Well, the refereeing team tonight is Kevin O'Sullivan. He's the man in the middle. The second assistant, Chris Campbell. First assistant, Wayne MacDonald, and Alan Patchell is the fourth official. You just mentioned the formations, Paul. Let's have a look at the players who'll be in those formations. The Bohs and St. Pat's team in front of us there. And look, you've already talked about one or two of the players, but there's so much talent in both teams, and of course on the bench as well.
Yeah, littered with good players, both teams, as you say. Bohemians, I think, will be looking massively to Jack Moylan. Jack came with the underage team at one stage. Really talented player. He'll play on the left of the front three for Bohs, but he's a right-foot player. He'll come in off the line. Likewise, Thomas Considine on the other side will give them width on the right. Thomas played as a full-back with me, but he was a very attack-minded full-back. So I'm looking at Bohs to utilise both of those players. Pats, on the other hand, I'm looking at the centre forward, Kyle Robinson. He scored bucket loads of goals for Pats this season. Really prolific in front of goal. Kyle Conway, Keane Corbley in the middle of the park. Really, really talented players. Ben McCormick, I must say, Ben has played in Pat's first team. Was with me last season. Fantastic
current
player.
International Player of the Year.
He is, and an award I gave to him, so I'm great. I'm delighted to see his progress. He's a smashing lad, really, really good player, very, very professional, wants to learn, has learned the game really well, and extremely talented. So there's a lot of exciting players on both teams. Josh Keeling, goal for Pats as well. Really, really good goalkeepers come on in bucket loads over the last couple of years. So lots of good players on display. And as I said, I think it will be an exciting game. I don't expect to see too many Hail Mary balls in the game. It will be nice, constructive build-up play by both teams. Lots of movements, particularly from Pats. You'll see fullbacks getting forward really, really aggressively. And that can be an area that can be exploited as well by Bohemians on the counter. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. You
mentioned Josh Keeley there. It looks like he will sign a pro deal with St. Pat's. Such is his talent, and he's shown that talent quite well over the last couple of years. Came through with Belvedere. His brother, a footballer as well. He plays for Cabinteely at the moment. The benches will be very important this evening, and there's so much pace off that St. Pat's bench. And of course for Bohs, they've got a couple of players who made a big impact last night. Colin Conroy and Aaron Doran, who scored the goal within the first minute.
Yeah, both Colin and Aaron, really, really talented players. Colin, again, I had him in with the group the season before last. Really good professional, very, very good player. Again, great to see these lads wanting to learn the game. They really come on a lot over the last couple of years. Aaron Doran, again, small player, really, really good player, playing that number 10 kind of role, and he's very tricky. Jack Funge is another player who's been really, really unlucky with injuries through his fledgling career to date. He's had some bad injuries, but it's great to see Jack getting back. And also Billy Vance, you speak about pace. Billy, flying winger, really good player, and precious as well. So you can look at both benches, and same on the Pats bench. You've got Glory and Zingo, who's he's 15, 16 possibly now. Keane Kelly would play, but he's injured. Keane be a key player for Pats, but unfortunately he's on the bench because he's got a bit of an injury. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting game.
Tonight doesn't define these players, but unlike maybe last night at under 17, at under 19 it's that bit more serious. You're that bit more closer to senior football, so it does mean that bit more, doesn't it? You really want to show in these games, because a lot of these guys are now kind of looking and potentially talking to clubs about professional contracts, or maybe you're looking at other options?
Yeah, you're quite right there, Oisin. At under 17 level, a lot of the boys playing last night would have been still probably 15 years of age, 16 at most. So they have a long way to go. It's not make or break for them. It's a little bit more make or break for some of these guys. Although I think Pats will have 3 different age groups in their squad today, even in their starting squad. So for some of them, they'll have other opportunities to progress and to prove what they can do. But you're quite correct. For some of the boys, this will be a big stage for them to try and show their respective managers of the first teams or the staff that they're ready for that step up.
Well, for whom the bell tolls, Bohemians coming out first, St. Pat's behind them, playing in the white jerseys this evening. A big day for both clubs, both announcing big signings. Ronan Coughlin, or Colin, depending on what part of the country you're from, has signed for St. Pat's, and Georgie Kelly has signed for Bows. Spent some time at St. Pat's, obviously, last season, but would have signed from Dundalk because he was on loan at St. Pat's. And Jamie Lennon also re-signing for St. Pat's as well. These players though want to stake their claim. They want to get their hands on the trophy tonight and then hopefully keep going on that football road afterwards. That's something that they'll think about and talk about in the days to come. But right now, this very moment, it's all about this match in the rain at the UCD Bowl. It is Bohemians against St. Pat's. Are these nice moments or nervy moments ahead of a game, Paul? What were you like? Did you just want to get underway? Were you happy, sad? What were you like at this moment?
When I was a player, I was very calm because a certain amount of what's going to happen is in your control. But when you're a coach, it's not my favourite time leading up to the game, and particularly these couple of minutes before the game wouldn't be my favourite time. Getting more used to it now as I've got more experience as a coach, but you can't really affect an awful lot, in my opinion, once the game is about to start. So good for players, but not so good for coaches, I don't think.
And Jamie Moore is the manager of St. Pat's, already led St. Pat's to an under-17 title, also won a Leinster Senior Cup as a coach as well. Gavin Teahan is the manager of Bohemians. The two men shared a nice moment a couple of minutes ago, and you would have heard from both of them in our pre-game build-up. St. Pat's going in for a photograph. As you can see at the moment, Bowes just doing a final few runs, a final few warm-ups. The rain is still falling here at the Belfield Bowl. The officials talking to both captains. Daniel Dobbin of St. Pat's, he actually trains with the first team, so that'll tell you what Pats think of him. The captain for Bohemians is Gavin Malloy. Nice conditions for a game. I know it's raining, but the pitch is in good order, so the ball will fly about.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much of a wind, which is a help. As you said, the pitch is nice and greasy from the drop of rain that's fallen this evening, so it'll be conducive to good football, ball on the ground. I can see the ball zipping around. You will see some good football here this evening, I'm sure of that. And as we said earlier on, you can hear the Pats players there really getting themselves motivated, because the start of this game is going to be very, very important for both sides.
And as Conan Byrne pointed out last night, a lot of the, I suppose, drive from the players comes from themselves, and that's what you want.
Absolutely. I mean, I know in the modern game, players are empowered an awful lot in decisions, in the style of play that's going to be played in particular games, and the tactics for the game. So it's no longer really a case of them being dictated to what they're going to do. Yes, it's controlled by the coach, but players do have a big say and have a big input, and they have a lot of knowledge on what's expected of them in games, so that helps them to self-motivate.
We got a goal within the first minute last night. How long is it going to take this evening? We're not sure. We will go all the way, by the way. It has to end tonight. We're about to get underway between Bohemians and St. Pat's in the SSE AIRTRICITY League Under-19 League Final. It is Bohemians to get us underway. And it's a testing one for the fullback first up, and he handles that one quite well. Tangle in the middle there, trying to get his boot on it was Adam Feeney, just couldn't quite find his teammate. Chested down wonderfully by Kyle Conway. He's from Athlone. Bohemians with the throw-in. You may notice a very small crowd on the far side. A guardian is allowed at under-19 level. That's a handball. It's a free kick to St. Pat's. One guardian or parent can attend the match on behalf of each family. And as we were saying last night, there must have been some fierce rows to see who'd go. That's really cool by the goalkeeper. Well done to Josh Keeley.
Yeah, it's good pressing by Bohemians. You can see the intent is there right from the start. Colin Kelly really putting pressure on the St. Pat's centre backs and forcing them into conceding a throw in, which is now become a free kick. And I know from speaking to Jamie previously that Bohemians are extremely good at set pieces. Score
Adam
a lot
Feeney, a
of goals.
tall lad, he looked to get his head on this. Of course, they're missing Evan Ferguson, who went off injured last night, having scored a Zlatan-like goal. This will be a tester for St. Pat's. Into the box it goes with considerable spin on it. He tried to get to the back post, did Jay Crilly, got his head on it but just couldn't direct it.
Yeah, probably just a little bit too much pace in the ball. But a positive start for Bohemians. They'll be happy with the first couple of minutes of the game. You can see again the pressing here by Colin Kelly, forcing Josh to kick the ball along, which is not what you want to do.
Corbelly roaming forward. First attack for St. Pat's, just a little bit too much on that one. It's cut out well by Dennis Smith. We're already seeing it here. Neither of these teams and none of the players are just simply hacking it and kicking it long. They're trying to play some ball. That's an attempted through ball. Little something left on the player as he kicked it there. It'll be another free kick to Bohemians. Picking himself up again now is Dennis Smith, but he'll be okay. Just getting his breath. And the referee, Kevin O'Sullivan, just very wisely saying to Sean Madden, look, calm down. He doesn't want to bring out cards this early in the game, so he's just saying, look, lads.
You certainly don't want to be getting carded this early, Oisin, in a game of this magnitude.
Dennis Smith, the right full back. That's a good delivery. He's trying to turn and twist his Moylan. Good tackle. Now can they go on the counter attack? Kyle Robinson showing his pace, and he was beaten to it well there by Jay Crilly, who had to be sure.
Yeah, good defending, coming across, covering his fullback, conceding a throw. You don't mind that at all. And you can see the pace there of Robinson. He's really, really quick, and it'll be a good battle between himself and Crilly, and also Big Mayo at the back for Bohemians this evening, the two centre backs.
In or around 40 goals in the last 2 years for Robinson. He is a goal machine. Looks like he's about to sign a pro contract as well, so another one who's showing talent, but it's Bowes who go on the counter attack. Josh Keeley is a long way from goal, but he is in control of the situation. Good ball. Dara Burns, who's on a first team contract. Abanqua. Abanqua, ball playing centre back. St. Pat's going wide again. Trying to zip it down the wing with Kyle Conway, but Bowes go on the counter attack. That's cut out. Almost came to Ben McCormick, just not quite. Again, Bowes getting that vital touch in there. Here's Abanqua. Really cool under pressure. Pat's on the move, a surging run. Madden. That's really good by Madden. Madden with a step over. Looked to me like he may have been fouled. Referee has given the throw in to St. Pat's.
He's done well, Madden. Good positive play from the fullback, forcing a throw in for his team down in the corner flag. Pats have settled in a little bit in the last couple of minutes, and they're controlling the game.
It's not the most convincing of clearances. Whelan tries to get there. Hooked away though.
You'll see Pats in the build-up. They get lots of rotations between wingers and fullbacks, and the number 10 can end up playing on the left wing. So it's difficult. It'll be difficult for Bohemians to know whether they go with runners, do they stay in their area. So it's interesting to see. And I know Pats work a lot on that kind of stuff and movement and trying to shift the opposition players.
Can they get in behind here? Feeney crowded out but still fighting for it. Feeney did really well, but he was just beaten by numbers. Abanqua. Plenty of options. Rain falling down again. Not sure if that's coming across on your TV sets, but it's getting worse. Jamie Whelan going backwards. Well controlled by Dara Byrne. Oh no, I jinxed him. It was a tough one to control because he was moving backwards and trying to kind of take it at an awkward height.
Yeah, it wasn't the best of balls from Andrew Spain, to be fair to Dara.
Burns makes sure that Bowes don't progress any further. Dennis Smith will take the throw again. Feeney is the target. Had the opportunity to shoot, but that's a really clever ball. Blocked bravely. It will rebound into the path of Moylan, who pushes it back to Livingston, who is the brother of the first teamer Livingston. This is Dara Burns taking off, tries to slip it through. Keeper smartly off his line. Cian Moore read it well.
Done well, the keeper. Centre back also done very well. Getting across, getting his body across in front of the centre forward if he was going to get on the end of it. So good defending by both keeper and centre back.
Feeney. Nice ball by Feeney. Cushioned by Livingston. And that will be a St. Pat's goal kick. They're both trying to play through the lines. They're both playing at pace. It's really impressive so far.
You'll see that all evening. They're getting the ball inside the penalty areas. No problem to them.
Madden. Mayo. Anna Mashahon, who's from County Louth, just shepherding that one out. Don't let him out is the shout from Josh Keeley. He wants his team to press up. It has gone out, and it is a St. Pat's ball. Sean Madden. Madden with the pacey ball backwards. Keeley's going to take control of that. Sliding in there was Malloy, but it rebounded off the shins of a St. Pat's player, and that's a decent looking cross, but it's too close to the goalkeeper. Trying to roam in there was Kyle Robinson, but it was too close to Cian Moore, the former Shamrock Rovers player, who handled it well.
Yeah, it was handy. It was a handy enough one to excuse the punt for the goalkeeper, but you can see that the pattern of the game, as you said, both teams trying to build up, not forcing balls. I think Bohemians are defending really well in Pat's half when Pats are trying to build up. They've really good structure. What they will find difficult to do is to maintain the intensity of the press, because these players haven't played in a long time. I think they've only had one game in 10 weeks due to COVID, and it'd be difficult for both sets of players to maintain the tempo.
That's a nice ball through the middle. Keeley read it really well, took control of it. He was getting the shout from a Banqua, but he still had to come out and put boot to ball. They're not unfamiliar with kicks to touch in this ground. It's a rugby venue as well. Obviously not too much rugby played on it lately. You can see that by the state of the pitch. It is in magnificent condition and very solid underfoot as well. Bulls try and get one in behind, but that's well cut out. Banqua. Oh, that's dangerous, and that's a little bit loose. Pull back. Feeney couldn't get there. They'll go again. Keeper, I think, was it his hand or the crossbar? I'm not sure. St. Pat's are really struggling here. And that goes out off a Banqua. He didn't give up on that one, Considine. It's a corner kick for Bohemians.
Good opportunity for Bowles. Again, came from Pats trying to play their way out, which they'll keep on doing. I think James just got himself a little bit caught up, wasn't aware that Thomas Considine was the other side of him. And it was an opportunity for Bowles, probably the best opportunity they've had, either side has had in the first 10 minutes or so.
Banqua got in the way, in fairness. Got his body between him and the goal and mightn't have known much about the header that came his way, but got in the way. That's not the best corner. Jack Moylan will be disappointed with that, but he's a good player. He will show well tonight. So many of these guys the same, headed on there by Livingston. Back with St. Pat's and Conway. He has to be careful here. Pressure being put on by Moylan, but again, Keeley did well. Lift it down the middle. McCormack. Turning and twisting is Corbally. McCormack goes outside again. Back to McCormack. Too close to Mayo. And that will be a Bohemians ball.
Good play by Pats. Again, up the right hand side. You see how high the fullback gets, but when he's gone, you'll always have one of the midfielders sit in. I think it was in that occasion, Kyle Conway recognises the fullback is gone, and he'll sit in and just marshal that area of the pitch. So it's good play.
Colin Kelly was a target. He was a little bit isolated, the Galway man, playing up front for Bowes, and St. Pat's deal with it. The rain getting that bit heavier. Doesn't tend to impact on the players though. They can kind of play in all conditions.
Yeah, I think the wind is a bigger factor, Oisin, than the rain. You know, you don't mind a bit of rain, keeps the body temperature down as well. It's when it's windy and blowing into your face, it can be very off-putting. But this drizzly rain, they won't mind at all.
A Banqua goes long. That's well cut out. Getting across was Platten. You don't mind the rain, do you? Having played all your career
I didn't mind
in the Winter League, as we'll call it, winter football.
I didn't mind it at all. I think to say, it keeps you cool.
McCormick allows it to beat him. That's very clever play. Went to ground a tad easily, but he has won the free kick. There was a hand on him, to be fair.
Yeah, I think in the modern game, Oisin, once players feel any kind of contact, you know, they go to ground. I would call Ben an honest player. To be fair to him, he wouldn't be one to take a dive now unless it's necessary. But it's a good position for Pats to put some pressure on the Bohemians' goal.
Well, Andy Spain is a potential target here. He's kind of loitering around the back post. A Banqua has come up as well. Andy Spain joined from Shamrock Rovers from Kildare. It's his last year as under 19. Here it comes. Hits the wall. Where's it going to deflect into the path of a Banqua? Nice step over. Had a look up. Didn't fancy a cross. Ben McCormick. Bohemians chasing after the ball, not giving Pats any time. Kyle Conway found his man at the edge of the box. But again, there was just too many players around. Long it goes from Gavin Malloy. Running onto it now is Colin Kelly. Kelly's at a tight angle. He's got Madden with him. Madden did really well there. He gave away the corner, but had Kelly got around him, Pats were in trouble. And it's good to see Madden flying again because he suffered the dreaded cruciate.
Yeah, nasty injury. It's good to see players coming back now. I think, you know, maybe 15, 20 years ago, if you got a cruciate, it was probably career threatening. But with modern medicine, players are getting back. Pats will be disappointed. They had a good position to take a free kick on the edge of Bowl's penalty box, and now they've just conceded a corner less than 30 seconds later.
It's better than the last one. Madden gets his head to it. I think that's Feeney chasing after it. Adam Feeney, neat turn. Now he tangles with the defender. Ben McCormick got back. A Banqua has to be very careful here. And that is as cool as you like. Good header by Dennis Smith. Andy Spain. Corbley has a look up. McCormick was the aim, but it's intercepted by Dennis Smith. Smith runs into trouble, dispossessed by Conway. Ben McCormick touches it back to Conway. Square ball to Jamie Whelan, who rolled it out to the wing. Madden back inside. Conway. Madden. Banqua wants it. Dara Burns. Didn't have the accuracy of the pass. Sean Madden. Madden touches it to McCormick. I may have credited Madden with a good tackle earlier on. It was actually Daniel Dobbin, but it is good to see Madden back. He's playing well as well on this left side.
Yeah, both fullbacks have done well for Pats so far. Both are defending really well, as I said earlier. They're well organised. They're making it difficult for Pats to play through them. They're staying very compact centrally, and I think the opportunities Pats will get will come down the flanks, particularly on the right side where, as you just mentioned, Daniel Dobbin is getting forward really well.
Training with the first team, Daniel Dobbin. His last year at under 19. Another one of the Cherry Orchard crew. What a club. They've produced so much talent over the years. He's a little bit isolated, but it'll be interesting to see if he can do anything with the break that has come his way. Considine. Malloy. A little bit inaccurate. Pats go over the top. They're on the break. Chasing after it is Kyle Robinson. Awkward bounce to the goalkeeper. Robinson towards the goal, but Mayo gets it away and gets the free kick. There was a little something left on him there as well.
You want to be careful, Keane Moore. He misjudged the bounce of the ball there, and he needed his centre back to get around and bail him out. And, you know, we speak about Pats trying to build up all the time. And that's obviously a case there where they're not afraid to go long. If they recognise that there's a 1v1 at the back, they'll go long. So it's not just a case of constant build up, but generally speaking, their style will be to try and build up.
Keane Moore gives it away. Can St. Pat's take advantage? Chasing after it is Dobbin. The captain puts a cross in. Probing was Dara Burns, but it was cut out. They don't get out, says Jamie Moore, the St. Pat's captain, or St. Pat's manager. He wants his team to keep pressing up. Andy Spain has to tidy this one up, which he does. Keeley sends it away. And I think more by accident than design, it came to one of his own men in the middle. Now taking off is Dara Burns. McCormack is inside. Burns. Smith following him. Burns just about keeps it in play, gets the cross in. And the header is off target. But that was better from St. Pat's.
Yeah, it's a really good chance. I don't think Ben realised where he was in relation to the goal, because he's got a free header 6-7 yards out. Yeah, Dara does really well to get the cross in. Ben takes up a really good position. I think he's got more time. I don't think he realises how close he is to the goal, and that's a real good opportunity.
It was a beautiful cross as well, wasn't it? Just kind of drifted in behind the defender.
Trademark from Dara Burns. He'll get crosses in. He'd be centre forward's dream as a winger, because he's going to get good quality crosses in. So it's your job to get in the box, and you'll get opportunities when Dara's playing.
Whelan getting on it there, got crowded out but did win the throw in. Well, I think any fans who are missing League of Ireland from their lives, they've got a little taste of it over the last 2 nights. Another game tomorrow, by the way, the under-17 girls final will come live from Athlone. Kickoff is at 3 o'clock. Jamie Moore, who's on the sideline tonight, will be on the mic for that tomorrow. But not only have League of Ireland fans got a little bit of League of Ireland back in their lives over the last couple of nights, they've also got something to get excited about, because we've seen an awful lot of talent, some really good football played in both games, and we've got a long way to go yet to see a goal, but we have seen some goal-mouth action. Whelan went outside. Ben McCormack. Conway intercepted by Dennis Smith. Almost getting there was Sean Madden, but he was just beaten to it.
Yeah, it's an area of Kyle's game which has improved. His long range passing. He sees the passes. He knows where he wants to put the ball all the time. Just needed to improve a little bit maybe on the accuracy of his passes, which he's done over the last couple of years. And he's got a real chance to develop into a really good player for St. Pat's.
Jamie Whelan works it backwards. There was a call for a handball there, but the referee says nothing doing. Our referee, just in case you're only tuning in, is Kevin O'Sullivan. Andy Spain over the top, lovely ball. His manager approves. Low cross, dealt with by Mayo. Feeney, good work by Feeney. Free kick for Bohemians.
Once again, the cross is supplied from the right by Pat's right back, Daniel Dobbin. So it's a real ploy there is to get that right full up as high as possible.
Pumped over the top. Chasing after it for Bowles is Considine. Came very close a couple of minutes ago with a header. Comes off the shins of Smith. Set for a throw into St. Pat's. Jamie Moore getting his hands on the ball there. Flung down the line by Madden. Intercepted by Jamie Whelan. Gives it away though. A Banquet calls it. Keeley wanted the goalkeeper, but instead it's to Madden. Madden lifts it down the wing. Dara Burns can't keep it in play. And you can see when we go to that kind of sideline camera that the conditions are absolutely perfect. Dara Livingston down the line. A Banquet is minding this all the way. Might have to give away a corner or a throw in. Gives away the throw in. The lesser of two evils.
Yeah, good defending by James. He's a good defender, good strong lad, good lot of pace, strong. He's quick. He's got a good frame on him, and I think he's got a real good chance to make a hell of a player.
Dennis Smith. Bowles player goes down in the box. Referee just waves play on. A Banquet deals with it well. Gets it out to Whelan. McCormack, oh, it just gets away from him. It was a good attempt to send in a through ball, but Crilly was minding the house for Bohemians. It's tidied up by Corbelly. Pats go a little bit long, but Mayo, Anna Shahun was there to mind the things. Considine couldn't beat Madden. A Banquet so composed on the ball. A Banquet Whelan. That's a little bit of a misdirection.
Yeah, James, he just spoke about him there, Roisin. He's a really, really good player. I had him in last year in the squad. Quiet, unassuming fella, but he's so calm, as you just said, on the ball. He's got an awful lot of assets to make a really, really top player, in my opinion.
And you could see when Pat's had a corner, he came forward for the set piece, and he will require minding because he's quite tall, he's physical. The voice you're hearing, by the way, is not mine, obviously, Paul Ozam. Just in case you're only tuning in, we are delighted to have you here with us. We know that some of you who are watching tonight would like to be at the UCD Bowl, and it's been a frustrating year for many fans because we haven't been able to go to games, but at least we've had games, and thanks to streaming services and Watch LOI and all that, we've been able to watch games, and well, you know what, that has been better than nothing. A Banquet running onto it.
You can see that rotation there with Pats again. The left fullers ended up in the centre of the pitch with Kyle Conway coming out, and it causes problems for balls. They don't know whether to stay with runners, they don't know whether to stay in their area of the pitch, and it's causing some problems for them.
Robinson putting a cross in there, but Cian Moore dealt with it well. Back to Moore. Chasing after this Burns, he's not going to get there. Dennis Smith. Cushioned pass by Smith. Considine is outside, but instead Livingston will lift it into the box. And the header is off target and weak, but it was at least the creation of a chance.
It's a bit more promising from balls. They haven't had too many opportunities in the final third. Decent ball into the box by Livingston, and Moylan came in. Didn't really get much of a contact on it though.
A Banquet. It is the St. Pat's ball. Madden. Smith gets in the way. Nodded it down wonderfully well to Considine. Considine carries. That's towards Kelly, but it's a Banquet all the way. Gives it away. Getting on it was Gavin Malloy. That's a really strong run by Jack Moylan. And a good block and a strong foot in by Dobbin. Corbelly marauds forward. Goes outside, but it's not the best ball for Ben McCormack.
Probably the wrong decision by Keane. Gone outside, but once again, who was outside him? Only the right back. So he's nearly playing as a right winger, which is causing Bowles problems because they've overloaded central areas. Then Pats are, and it's difficult for Bowles.
Ben McCormack. Back it goes into the defence again, and Andy Spain. A Banquet. Spain. Dobbin. I beg your pardon, that's not Dobbin, that's Jamie Whelan. Almost won by Madden. Goes for it again and wins it again. Fair play to him. Lovely ball outside to Burns, who's got a bit of room to manoeuvre with. Burns against Considine. Gets his cross in. Breaks kindly for Bohemians, and Livingston sends it away, but only as far as Madden. Madden pumps it in. There's a bit too much on that. And Moore fumbles it, but gets away with it. No, he doesn't. It's a corner kick. Good pressure put on by St. Pat's.
He needs to be doing better there, really. Kane, you know, he'd be disappointed with that. Had a little bit of a fumble earlier on with a high ball as well, so he needs to be careful because, you know, we can make mistakes in the middle of the pitch and they won't be punished. But as a goalkeeper, you make a mistake and the ball can end up in the back of the net.
Dara Burns makes his way over to take the corner. Bit of a bunching in the middle there, as you can see. Andy Spain is told go into the goalkeeper. Dara Burns, what can he do? Goes low, rolls it to Jamie Whelan, goes back to Burns. That's a good sliding challenge. No, it's a free kick. Dara Burns is okay, he will continue. I guess while the ball was won, the studs were a little high.
I think once the feet come off the ground, it's all O'Sheen, you know, referees are kind of obliged to give a free kick. I don't think there's any malice in it, but it was a free kick.
Ah, yeah, it's a good call by Kevin O'Sullivan. Still waiting the first goal. Are we going to get it here? That's a zippy ball, and I think it went over off the head of Considine, so it is going to be a corner kick.
I'll tell you, that's absolutely fantastic defending from Thomas. I think that's it's almost a dead cert. You see here in the replay, it's fantastic whip ball in. Yeah, I think if he doesn't, I mean it's coming right onto the head of one of the Pats players there.
Yeah, McCormick was waiting, I think. 2
yards out, so brilliant defending.
They went short the last time. They go long this time. Keeper does well, much to his credit. Cian Moore tries to find Kelly. Kelly's up against Dobbin. They have a man inside. Moylan's roaming on the back post. Had the sting taken out of it and fell gratefully into the arms of Josh Keeley. It's good chasing by Moylan. Abanqua kind of ties himself up in knots. It does find its way to Madden. That boot was a little bit high there from Jack Moylan, but there will be no free kick. It is Feeney. Considine. Conway clears it, but only as far as the ball's head. Nodded out to Feeney. Running after it is Moylan. Just beats him.
You can see, I think, you know, we're coming up to half an hour plus gone now, I think, and you can see I can notice a little bit of fatigue in one or two of the players, because as I said earlier on, they haven't played a lot of games lately with COVID. They haven't been able to train, and there's not like match practice either, and you know, the conditioning will come into question, no doubt about it, before the end of the game.
Back to Keeley it goes. Moylan putting a bit of pressure on. I think that's Spain who sends it away long. Bowes on the attack. Feeney's running ahead. Gets it. Considine is arriving in the box, but they have to go outside. Here's Kelly. Not a bad cross. Considine, and then it's sent over the crossbar by Livingston.
Best chance of the game, O'Sheen, by a long mile. Really, really good play by Bohemians. Fantastic cross in. You really got to be hitting the net. What's he, 3-4 yards out, puts the ball over the bar. Great chance for Bowles, best chance of the game.
Good feat shown by Kyle Robinson there. Now it's Ben McCormack. Can they get the cross in? Have managed to find a Pats jersey, but again he's back to goal, and there was just too many numbers around. Ben McCormack tries to win a break but can't. Smith tries to get there and does. Considine, nice touch by Considine. Feeney. Livingston, bit of a boomer, but it's cut out. McCormack. Dobbin runs forward, but it was too close to Crilly, who deals with it well.
It's been a little bit tighter in the last 10 minutes or so. Bohemians have come back into the game, had a couple of chances. Maybe not as dominant. They don't seem to be getting as many men forward as quickly as they'd like to, but they certainly have had more play.
Nice skill by Kyle Robinson, who wins the free kick. Tried to get away from Mayo Anamashashun, but he couldn't. He was fouled on the way through, and St. Pat's have an opportunity here. Ben McCormick standing over this one. He can hit them. Not bad. Pushed away by the goalkeeper.
Took no chances, Keane Moore there. He wasn't going to try and catch that one. There was a lot of pace on it. Probably a good decision. Well, maybe could have caught it, but look, he's giving away a throw, which is not the worst thing in the world.
Is Dobbin going to go long here? Robinson's in the box. He's the only one at the moment. Just standing outside of it is Corbelly. Burns. Not a bad cross. And flicked towards goal and in. And getting the final touch on that one was Kyle Robinson. The Saints go marching in front.
Yeah, it's Robinson. Goal poacher supreme. I think he gets a stud to it, but it's a fantastic ball in by Burns, who's been excellent all evening so far, whether it's down the left or down the right. Probably just about deserved, I think, maybe to take the lead. Pats have been probably the better side, but good goal from their perspective. Bad time for Bows to concede a goal, if there is such a thing, coming up toward half time. So Pats will be very conscious now to maintain this lead and not give anything away in the next 10 minutes or so, and see this into half time. They'll be more than happy going in at 1-0.
Robinson got something on it. Goal scorers find a way, and as we were saying a while ago, he scored in or around 40 in the last 2 years, so no surprise.
You can see why, you can see why.
Can Bohemians respond? Little bit of a heavy touch there from Adam Feeney. Couldn't quite keep it in.
That will drain the energy out of players as well, Oisin, conceding a goal when you've defended well. In a night when maybe your legs are a little bit lagging, and when you can see the goal, it can take a lot of energy out of you. It'll be interesting seeing if they can bounce back.
Free kick to be taken here by Gavin Malloy, the captain. Malloy, nice spin and pace on that one. Feeney on target but too weak. Smith has to deal with this. It's awkward. Robinson was probing again. It'll fall nicely for the goalkeeper, Cian Moore.
Yeah, he's a handful, Robinson. He doesn't give up on stuff. Wasn't giving the fullback any time there to settle on the ball.
Sean Madden dispossessing Considine there at the cost of a throw-in.
Referee's had a good game, Oisin. It's always a good sign when you're not talking about the ref, isn't it?
That's true. We only talk about them in the negative, don't we? St. Pat's 1-0 up. The goal coming from Robinson, but Bowes responding well to the goal. They've created a goal chance themselves and still look driven. Their heads haven't dropped.
No,
Smith.
in fairness, they'll keep going. As I say, it can drain the energy from you. But they're young players, they'll know there's still a fair way to go in the game. They'll recharge at half time if they get in at 1-0. What they don't want to do is concede another before half time, which would be be very difficult to come back from.
Beautiful switch from McCormick. Nice pace shown on the wing. Burns tries to get across in and wins a corner kick.
You can hear Jamie there. The orders are get the ball right in on top of the keeper.
He'll always make himself heard, won't he? Can't deny his success as a manager though. An under-17 title, a Leinster Senior Cup title, and at the moment looking good for an under-19 title. Long way to go though. has all these badges, has all these qualifications. Here's Daniel Dobbin. Dobbin lifts it down the wing, but it's easily cut out.
He won the Tiddlywinks Championship as well. He informed me once, Jamie. I think it was in 2002, if I'm not mistaken.
He won't mind me cracking this joke, but as the old saying goes, how do you know Jamie has won something? Don't worry, he'll tell you. Jokes aside, good lad, good manager.
Ah, yes, no.
Madden has a look up. Goes over the top. It's not a bad idea.
Yep. Good idea. Just needed to, a bit more accuracy with the pass. Good idea.
Smith has to control it. Did well under pressure from Cian Corbally.
Yeah, again, good decision by the ref. He waited to see what happened. Didn't blow his whistle too hastily. It was a free kick to Bowles, and I don't think there was any malice in it.
Yeah, nothing too serious. Just a bit over the top from Corbally.
He wouldn't be that kind of player,
Yeah.
Kane, he'd be more of a footballer than a destroyer.
Formerly of Crumlin United, described to me as a street footballer. Oh, that's beautifully controlled by Considine. A Banquet tried to take a nibble off him. Considine stays going. That's a beautiful, brilliant run by Considine. He tried to put it back. Couldn't quite find a red and black jersey. Dennis Smith hasn't given up on it. He's done well. And it's shepherded out for a goal kick, potentially a free kick.
Good run by Considine. Got into a good position. Again, the final pass from him could have been better. It's Smith following up, but good defending to see it out for well, it's actually a free kick, free out, but it's as good as a goal kick, I suppose.
Seven minutes to half time. Robinson's goal the difference so far. We're getting a look at it there. The conditioning of these players is pretty amazing. They're not just good footballers.
And that's a testament to the work that goes on at the National League clubs since the induction of the league many years ago. It's so professional. The strength and conditioning coaches, the access to gyms now. Everything is monitored for them. Their diet. So it shows. It's shown here today, and it's shown in the under-17 National League as well, and the under-15 National League. So it's been great strides made. There's still a long way to go for everybody involved, but it's massively improved over the last number of years. And yes, the condition of the players is a big thing, which I see that when we go away with the under-16 national team. 6 years ago, our players were nowhere near as good condition as most of our European counterparts. But in the last year or two, we can match them physically, which should be a given, but hasn't always been for us here because we didn't have a professional league. But great strides being made, as we say.
Pats have to be careful here. Goes back to Keeley. Not the best touch. It's intercepted by Robinson. Showing a trick or two again is Dara Burns. Got a bit of luck there. Deserved it for being so audacious. Back to Keeley. A Banquet. A Banquet down the line. Smith out of play.
Dara Burns has gone out to the right side, and Cian Corbally's come out to this left side. So obviously Jamie probably feels Cian wasn't involved in the game as much as he'd like, or maybe feels Dara will do better out on the other side. But I think it doesn't matter what side Dara plays on because he's a really effective player.
Madden with a few dummies before eventually pulling the trigger, and that's a bit of a blind ball from Robinson. Touchback by Platten to Cian Moore. Flicked on by Livingston. Controlled by Andy Spain. Dublin back to Spain. That stays in play. And St. Pat's have turned bulls yet again. They tried to thread one through there to Ben McCormack, but much to the credit of the Bulls defence, they got back and did what they needed to do. However, a foul has been committed here on Jamie Whelan.
There's a lot of good work for Pat Whelan that goes unnoticed. He fills holes when other players are gone. Maybe the dirty side of the game people don't really notice, but he's very effective and a really important part of the team.
That's why they signed him from Drogheda United. Madden. Kyle Conway. A Banquet. Goes back to his goalkeeper. Touched on, but only as far as the defender waiting for it there was Jay Crilly. That's a really good play by Mayo. Anna Shahun. Bringing it with them was Malloy, or Feeney, I beg your pardon, but couldn't keep it in play. Lovely turn by Ben McCormack. Corbally with a beautiful ball. McCormack runs ahead, but the aim is Robinson. Might bounce his way. Robinson keeps it alive. No one running onto it.
You need them in the box there on the end of that rather than the supplier. But there's an unforced error by Bowes. A few of them creeping in the last few minutes. Again, fatigue will definitely be a factor here today.
Kyle Conway. Like every other competition in every other country, the Under-19s League has been badly affected by COVID. It has been stop-start in its nature, and the run into the final far from ideal for both of these teams. Yes, they're grateful to have a final. Yes, it is great to have a final because kids this age have been denied so much of the normal stuff in 2020, but it has been stop-start, and as Paul Ozam has been telling you, it maybe has affected players. But if they can get to half-time, still only 1-0 down, Bulls, I think they'll be relatively happy.
If I was Gavin now, I'd be praying for the half-time whistle because Pats are certainly, on the ascendancy in the last few minutes. Every time they attack, they look dangerous, particularly down the right-hand side with Dara Burns, and any ball that goes into the box, and you've got Robinson in there, he's a real jack in the box, as you see him from his goal, and he always looks threatening when a ball is played into the box.
Considine behind Smith, who flicks it beautifully back to Considine. Will he have a go himself? Has a look up, turning, twisting, rolling outside. Here's Livingston. Back to Smith. Really well dispossessed, clever play. They were just hesitant to cross it in there. Should they have gone for it?
I think you can nearly tell a player to cross the first time by the weight of the pass you give him. I don't think he helped the fullback. He can pay too much pace on it. If you just set it up from nicely, it's nearly inviting him to cross the first time. If you put too much pace on it, he's got to take a touch, and then the opportunity to cross may be gone.
In fairness to Corbally, he kind of sensed that resistance to cross and stopped the cross from getting in. Half-time whistle blows. Kyle Robinson's goal has got St. Pat's leading in this game. It came in the 33rd minute. It is St. Pat's who are leading by 1-0 against Bohemians in the SSE AIRTRICITY League Under-19 League final. Paul, what have you made of it?
Yeah, it's much as I would have thought, O'Shane. Pats are probably the better side. They deserve to have their lead. Probably maintain possession a little bit better. Well, what Bohemians did do for the majority of the halves, they defended really well. You could see as the half went on, that more gaps appeared for Pats. They looked really, really dangerous, and I know I'm repeating myself fair, but I think there's a fair bit of fatigue creeping in. Be grateful for Bowes now to get in and recharge the batteries at half time. they've had one or two chances themselves, Bows. To be fair, they probably had the best chance of the game before Pat scored. Really good opportunity, 2 yards out, was put over the bar. Pat's goal came a little bit of a poacher's goal from Robinson with a really good ball in, but Pats have definitely been in the ascendancy. It's going to be difficult for Bows, I feel, in the second half. They've really got to get something going, and Gavin's going to certainly earn his corner now at half time by going in and rejuvenating the troops. Tactically, I don't think there's a huge amount more you can really do. I think they've got their tactics spot on. They've defended well, they pressed well when they could, and it's just a case of sometimes it's just a kick of a ball between two teams, but Pats probably have the better players.
And Paul, what do you think each manager will say to their team at halftime? And I need your answer to be as long as it takes me to get down to the interview position so I can talk to Tom Owen. So until you see me, keep talking.
Okay. Well, I think Jamie Moore will obviously be the happier of the two with his team goal up. He'd be saying just more of the same. Take no chances, no unnecessary risks. They don't need to score another goal to win the game. Robinson, keep getting balls into the box, keep getting balls out wide to both wingers. Keane Corbin's come out to the left, Darragh Burns on the other side, get balls into wide areas, because Bows are defending quite centrally. I think Gavin will have a tougher job to try and first of all gee his players back up, because they found it tough, and just try and rejuvenate them. And the first 10 minutes of the second half will be vital for Bows to get a good start, because if they don't, I'd fear a little bit for them that maybe Pat will get a real good grip on the game and start to turn the screw as the game goes on. So hey, the view. So we'll see what happens in the second half. Back to you, Shane.
Paul Ozan, there's a TV reporter in you yet. Tom Mohan, the Ireland under-19 manager, has joined me. Tom, 1-0 to St. Pat's at the break against Bows. Hard to argue against it, is it? I think on the balance of play, it's a fair enough reflection of the game.
Like it is, Oisin. Pats have been, the more dominant team, and obviously with Darragh Burns going over to the right-hand side, it's probably suits Darragh more, cutting in, and he's, probably causing more danger there. And obviously, people might say it's a fortuitous goal, but he's put it into the right area, and Kyle's got a touch on it, the goal scorer that he is. Absolutely.
Goal poacher supreme. He showed it there, didn't he? Yeah,
he's a goal scorer, and he's a threat, and probably, Pats are mixing it up as well. The opportunity to go long and stretch them down the sides. He's a real out for them, and he's positive. And Kamira's goal scoring record this season has been really, really good.
What do you think Bows need to do in the second half?
Kamira, they're going to have to go for it, aren't they? They're probably sitting a wee bit deep too much in this half, and they've got to get out and they've got to impose themselves, higher up the pitch, and probably a higher press against Pats as well, and Thomas Considine has showed there on the right hand side, he's got the pace in 1v1s, and probably got to stretch them into wide areas, get the full backs going forward, and they've got to take the gamble. And I think you'll see that, because they're a team that have scored a lot of goals this season as well, and probably introduce some of the subs also to freshen it up.
A lot of preparing for this final, I guess, for the managers has been a bit of guesswork, because given the year that has been, it has been stop-start, it's been difficult to prepare. Your preparation is nowhere near what it would normally be for a game, because it's been so stop-start. It looks like St. Pat's have got that right. They look just that bit fitter, that bit sharper.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sorry, that's not a criticism of Bows, because it's hard to know how one should prepare for this.
Yeah, the lads have had 3 pre-seasons in 12 months, and it's very, very difficult, there's no doubt, and it's credit to the teams, and it's credit to everybody involved in the league, and the league itself for seeing the season out, and giving these lads an opportunity on the days of Christmas, and you've got to be fair to the players, and come here, both teams had a tough game at the weekend as well. It was at both games. Pats played Waterford, was 0-0. It was a tough, hard game, and they were tested by Waterford, and then Bows showed at the weekend against Shells. They scored 3, they conceded 3 as well, but they can score goals. And come here, second half could be a whole different ball game. I think you'll see a different Bows in the second half.
Okay, Tom Mohan, thank you very much. Tom, of course, the Ireland under-19 manager. It is the SSE AIRTRICITY League under-19 final live at the UCD Bowl. The rain, luckily, because we're outside, and obviously I'm very sensitive about my hair, is holding off for the moment. Let's hope it holds off for the rest of the night. It does have to finish tonight, by the way, so extra time and penalties if required. 1-0 St. Pat's lead at the break against Bohemians. We'll be back shortly with the second half. Stay with us. Welcome back to the UCD Bowl, where the rain has stopped for now. It is St Pat's against Bohemians in the SSE AIRTRICITY League Under-19 final, and St Pat's lead by 1-0 coming into the second half. Robinson with that goal after 33 minutes. What approach do you think Bohs will take early in the second half, Paul? Because certainly in the second half of the first half, if that makes sense, Pats were really on top of them.
Well, I think they'll be glad to have got in at half time, being able to recharge the batteries. They'll be looking for a really bright start. They can't afford to allow Pats to get a grip in the game, as they had for the last maybe 15 minutes of the first half. So I think they'll be capable of starting really well, because they've had a 15-minute rest to get themselves recharged, rejuvenated. So they'll be looking to start really, really quick. Pats, on the other hand, sometimes a 1-0 scoreline can be a little bit, leads you into a little bit lull of a sense of insecurity. So they'll need to start well too. I just feel if Bohemians don't get a grip in the first 10-15 minutes, that they may suffer.
I'm just looking around, I don't see any changes, not yet anyway. Jamie Moore, the manager of St Pat's, Gavin Teehan, the manager of Bohemians. Still a long way to go, and extra time and penalties if required. Glad to have you along tonight. And what else would you be up to in this lockdown Christmas? St Pat's in the white jerseys, playing from left to right in this second half, and Feeney wins the ball back. Ball to feet of Kelly. Kelly gives it away. Dangerous ball into the middle, but it does work out. Rolling it outside was McCormack. Robinson got onto it there, but Bohemians have it back. Feeney lifts it down the wing. Slipped inside to Kelly, who's just offside. And thankfully we have no VAR, so we don't have to look at it again.
He done well, Andrew Spain. He just stepped up just at the last minute, and it was a good decision by the linesman. And it made it easy for him, I think, by the good play of Andrew Spain.
Over the top it goes. I think they might get a corner out of that. Getting a touch on it was Dennis Smith. St Pat's went 1-0 up through a set piece. It wasn't a corner, it was a free kick that swung in. That doesn't beat the first man. That's travelling a bit, but doesn't beat the Bohs wall. And now they have the chance to counter-attack. Kelly was shielded really well there by Madden. Platten inside to Gavin Malloy. Down the line from Smith. Bohs with a bit of pace on the wing, but also a bit of inaccuracy.
Yeah, pity. Good opportunity. Thomas, just an overhit pass. These things, you can't afford to do these things again. They just drain the energy out. You've got fullbacks getting in up overlap, and fellas getting into the box to support, and then the ball's just kicked out, and it's gifted St Pat's a goal kick.
That's well won. Moylan didn't get the touch he was looking for, and here's Corbelly. McCormack trying to get it back to McCormley. Robinson involved there as well. Robinson now on it again. Has a look up, and will we say an audacious effort? Didn't quite get the contact on it he was looking for.
Good idea though, in fairness to him. He's seen the keeper off his line slightly. Difficult one to execute from that kind of range, but he's seen the opportunity there anyway.
That was controlled by Conway, but Bohs have it back. Went outside from Livingston. And Mashahan. Moore intercepted again. Malloy just about rescued by Dennis Smith. Livingston. Smith. And here comes Burns. Robinson's in the box again. Last ditch defending. Moylan. Oh, he was unlucky, Moylan. It was cut out there by Spain. Here's Dara Burns. Robinson roaming inside again. Madden. McCormick goes to ground, free kick.
He's finding pockets now, Ben. He's very good at that. Gets into really good areas of the pitch. Doesn't always follow the ball. Times he just stands still where he recognises the space, and he can be very, very dangerous if you allow him space in the final third.
Robinson at the edge of the box, as is Jamie Whelan. That's a corner kick. Solid defending by Jay Crilly.
Yeah, that's the second one. He had a very good interception just there from the last cross from that side. And when Robinson was also almost in again for a second, Crilly got a vital touch.
Burns makes his way over to take the corner. Looks good. A Banquet just couldn't quite get his head on it.
Half decent chance. I think the defender just done enough to get his body across in front of him and just make it a little bit difficult for James. So good opportunity.
Malloy is closed down, but he stays cool under pressure. Feeney. Keeper comes out. It's dangerous. It comes off Kelly. Can he finish this one off? It's an unbelievable break for Bohemians, but they'll take it. Colin Kelly, the Galway man, equalises.
Well, it's set up nicely now. I think Josh came out. The goalkeeper, I think he had to come really. Got a little bit fortune, Kelly. But look, he took a gamble. It paid off, and it's put his team right back in it now. And it's exactly what they needed. They needed to get a goal. They needed to get themselves back into the game. That'll give them a big lift now, I feel. It'll give them a lot more energy now. They feel they have a real chance now. You know, it's in the balance, massively in the balance still. Pats haven't really started in the second half as of yet. So it's set the game up nicely for the last 35 minutes or so.
Dublin. And it just came from them chasing scraps. They didn't give up on a long ball, and for all the world it looked like the keeper was going to deal with it, but he didn't. Here's Kelly again. Kelly couldn't keep it under control.
This is where Pats now will be looking for big players and big games to control the game, keep the tempo of the game. No, you can't have anybody going hiding now in situations like this. Bows will have the wind in their sail now.
Moylan slips it down the line. Kelly, he'll go for it. Had a bit more time on it maybe than he realised. Could have taken it on.
No, he certainly did. Probably feels confident after scoring and probably felt that I'll have a crack from here. But it's going to be a big 5 minutes now for Pats really, because you can see now Bows are first at every second ball. They've really got their tails up now, and Pats will need to get a grip of it.
Dobbin picks up a yellow card for that tangle with Moylan. Have to go again. Gavin Malloy, the captain. Delivery is what's shouted to him from Gavin T, and he delivers it in long. Might break out here for Considine or Moylan. St. Pat's come away with it. That's a good strong challenge by Gavin Malloy. Ben McCormick. Throw in to St. Pat's. That came off Dara Livingston. Here's Gavin T encouraging these players. The Bowls manager. Here's Ben McCormick. Malloy again gets a strong foot in. Comes the way of Sean Madden. And gets away from him. And just a reminder in case you're only tuning in. Those are all parents and guardians of the players over in the stand. You are allowed bring one. Bowes will be happy with how the half has started, an equaliser, and I suppose they've imposed themselves on the game as well.
They certainly have, in fairness to them. You know, Gavin be quite happy with the first 10 minutes, and I'd say it's gone exactly as he would have wished it would go. You know, by getting the goal, getting themselves right back into the game. Pats look a little bit flat now at the moment.
Kevin Platten.
You're always going to have spells in the game where you need to dig in, and Pats are in one of those spells at the minute.
Livingston gets the cross in, but too close to the goalkeeper. Lost in midfield and bravely won back by Kelly. The goal scorer for Bowes. Rolls to Moylan. Mayo. Smith can't keep it under control. He was unlucky.
Yeah, he's had a good game, Smith, defensively for Bohemians. He's been solid. He's got forward a lot as well in the first half. Defended well when he's had to. Just as I say, that gets done.
Bit too much pace in the ball, made it hard to control. Conway did well, wanted it back. Instead it goes to Jamie Whelan. Winning it bravely was Corbally. Pinballing around there, eventually it goes out for a throw into Bohemians. Smith gives it to the feet of Feeney. Feeney down the line, cut out well. Sean Madden getting in the way. Smith. Malloy stabbed at it, gave it away. Feeney tries to win it back and can't. Gavin Malloy did really well there. The target was Moylan, didn't come to him though. Neat turn. Robinson went after it, but it was just didn't quite fall from Cian Moore. Platten.
I think Colin Kelly has he's got a bit of a problem. I think he got a little clip across the knee, maybe.
That's him down at the moment. You can see him. He didn't even go for that last through ball.
He
stood
had a
there.
problem just previous to that in the last attack. I didn't quite see what happened to him, but he certainly got some kind of knock. I don't think it was anything malicious from a Pats player. I think he just clashed the knees maybe. But he won't want to go off anyway, Oisin, that's for sure. Haven't scored and got in a couple of times since, had a couple of half chances. Looks bright, so unless he's really struggling, he'll be coming back on. There's no question about that.
Much to his credit, that was a really good finish. I mean, they got a bit of a lucky break in a sense that
the
keeper didn't deal with it, but he had to work hard to get that break, and then he had to finish from a tight angle.
Yeah, and he kept his composure, in fairness, and probably with his less used foot, I don't like calling it the weak foot, but with his right foot, he put it in from a tight enough angle.
Looks like he just needs a breather. He'll go back in, try and run it off. Conway has a look up, delivers long. Dara Burns is trying to get there. He's beaten to it. Good header by Jay Crilly. Falls the way of Dobbin. And I think it was Dara Burns who was offside either way. It's a free kick to Bowes. Bit more direct play as the game has gone on.
Yeah, I think you'll find as players get fatigued, they're less willing to take chances. The decisions are impaired somewhat, and they kind of err on the side of caution a lot of the time, and you'll find fellas will go a little bit more direct as they get fatigued.
I suppose when you have the pace up front that these two have, it's tempting to just put balls in behind. Dara Burns chasing after it there, Mayo cleaning it up again.
I'll tell you what isn't notable in the first 10 minutes of the first half, we seen Daniel Dobbin get forward maybe a dozen times, and I don't remember him getting up into the final third at all in this half. to date. So that's testament to Bowles, how they've played and how they've been on the front foot for the first 15 minutes of this half.
Dobbin's cross was intercepted by Considine. Dennis Smith carries. Madden tries to dispossess, but Smith did well. Rolls it down for the run of Considine, who can't keep it in play. Might break towards Burns. No, Bowles control it, then give it away. It was Madden who went marauding through and trying to slam him around, but Bowles have it back, and now they win the free kick. Really strong running there by Considine.
Gavin be very happy with the attitude his players have shown, coming out in the second half, getting a really good start, kept the tempo of the game up, and they're certainly in the ascendancy at the moment, and Pats are struggling a little bit to find an answer.
Considine is trying to shake off Madden. It is a Bowles ball. Two against one there. The one for Bohemians was Livingston. He did well. Jack Mullen going across to take the corner.
A lot of big bodies, big men in the box for Bowles here. You're looking for a good delivery here now. Could cause some problems for the Pats defence.
Well, in the context of tonight, this has been the scoring end. Both goals into that goal. Are we about to get a third? No. Cleared by Pats from the header of Livingston.
That's another corner kick, I think. It's
it looked like it was going to fly out and go for a throw in, but it actually kind of scuffed off his shin, or sliced off his shin more so, and went out for a corner kick. They'll go short. Here's Feeney. Well done to Corbally, who got in the way. Robinson. He was looking for Burns, didn't find him, and it was just pumped away. Smith. Well controlled. Back it goes, but chasing up and pressing is Moylan. However, they stayed calm. Here's Ben McCormack. Rolls it out to Dara Burns. On the overlap is Dobbin. Burns will go himself. Keeper was behind that. Comfortable save from Cian Moore there. A Banquet. Smith tangling over on that far side with Corbally. And it is a St. Pat's ball. Banquo wills it well, sends it down to Corbally. Neat turn. Ball run down to Burns from McCormack. Burns has a look up, thought about taking a shot. He might now. No, instead slides it through. Straight at the goalkeeper, and that's frustrating. Robinson was probing. He wanted it.
Yeah, bad decision again. Shooting from an acute angle with players in the box. It was good. It's the first time they've strung a few passes to get a patch in this half, really, and got into a good opportunity. Good area to pitch, but poor decision.
Brilliant pickpocketing there from Conway. Burns turning and twisting. Pushed outside towards Burns, but cleared with a bit of interest from Platten. Pat's beginning to look good again.
They've just had a couple of minutes where they've maintained possession. They've been sloppy and scrappy and giving away the ball cheaply, but they've managed to to put a few passes together and look threatening in the last couple of minutes certainly, but they'll need to keep that up for longer periods.
Initially well dealt with, but Pats have it back, and this is Cian Corbally, who shot cannons off Feeney.
Seen a lot of poor decisions creeping in from both teams, really.
I guess when you mix the nerves of the big occasion and fatigue.
Absolutely. I mean, again, young players who learn from mistakes. That's a good ball.
Dennis Smith did really well, and he had to be careful because Ben McCormick was probing. Here's Madden. Bit of a heavy touch from Madden. Goal kick. Doing well there was Considine. Jamie Moore telling one of his players to put the shin guards on. We'll inform you as to who that change is and who's coming on and who's coming off in just a moment. But motoring on is Platten. Inside it goes to Moylan. Moylan sets it up. I think that was Feeney who put it out wide. It's Platten who runs onto it, but getting back, much to his credit, was Dara Burns. Well, Platten, Rory Delap this one into the box. Actually, Rory Delap's son will be playing in or around this age group, wouldn't he? He's played first team for City.
He did, yeah. He's a 0-3 birth, I think.
Robinson wins the throw in. Dobbin. Dobbin finds a free man. A thing of rarity on the pitch at the moment. Both teams working incredibly hard. That's a neat turn by Jamie Whelan. Corbally has Burns outside. A touch of the habits there, I think, from Feeney, who just cleared it with aplomb. Kyle Conway. Well read. Whelan. Dobbin up in the air. Feeney chasing after it. Well controlled by Ben McCormick. Chasing after it is Robinson. Pats have players in the box, including Kyle Corbally. Robinson has scored. Now can he create? Madden cut out. Throw into St. Pat's. Surging run from Jamie Whelan. Ran into a bit of trouble in the end and gives away the free kick.
Yeah, well, in fairness to him, he's trying to get Pats going again. He's probing, he's getting on the ball, he's trying to drive them forward. He's been involved in a lot of good things Pats have done in the last 10 minutes. So, you know, you need somebody to pull you through the trenches when you're down in them, and Pats have been for the first 10 or 15 minutes of the half, but they've started to come back into it in the last few minutes.
Success Edegun is coming in for St. Pat's from Kilkenny, but signed from Waterford. Very, very, very pacey, a good attacker. Plays a bit of rugby as well, actually. And I think coming out will be Cian Corbally. Bulls try and carry it out. Pats win it back. That's good work from Kyle Conway. Jamie Whelan moved it on. Conway receives it back. Dara Burns completely unmarked, and they've picked him out, but the bounce just takes it away from him. Cian Corbally will go off, and Success Edegun will come in. Edegun goes chasing after it straight away. Flicked on by Kelly. Dobbin gets back, takes it off the toe of Livingston.
Looks like Edegun's gone down the middle. Kyle Robinson seems to have gone out to play on the left, so Edegun looks like he's a big strong lad, a lot of pace, fresh legs coming on at this stage of the game. Could be a big positive for us side. But they need to get the ball in behind and maybe utilise that pace.
"21 minutes to go." That is, if someone scores. If not, it's extra time and potentially penalties. Gavin Malloy, away it goes from Conway. Edegun is on the run again. He's in behind here, he's threatening, but Mayo takes it off him, but only as far as a white jersey, that of Robinson. Here's Edegun. Fancies it, you can already see him taking on the defence. No foul, says the referee. Rolled back towards McCormick, but not an accurate pass.
Good impact off the bench. Edegun, he's caused problems there in his first real involvement in the game. You can see he's a big, powerful player. And you know, he's probably the last thing you want to see coming on if you're playing as a centre back at this stage in the game.
Ben McCormick goes down. St. Pat's with the free kick in a dangerous position. A Banquo forward. Edegun obviously providing a threat with his height and physicality. Robinson there as well. Ben McCormick to send it in. Stands it up. Spain. And it's flashed over. To me it looked like it came off a Bowles boot. Obviously it didn't, and that's a chance gone a begging.
I think it was Robinson. He would have preferred that to fall onto his trusty left boot.
Well, let's have a look here. The replay is on.
Came up really quickly. Spain done really well. Yeah, and it's with his left foot, but he was, in fairness, he was being put under a fair bit of pressure by the Bohemians defender. Made it very difficult for him. But a half chance, we'll say.
Well, Banquo is injured, so let's hope for him he'll be okay. Bowes making a change now. Coming in is Colin Conroy. Well, what a couple of nights it could be for him, because he was part of the under-17 team that won last night.
Good player to bring on in this kind of a game where it's tight and where you need energy, and you need somebody who's going to get around the pitch, because Colley's very, very good at that. His overall game's improved a lot in the last couple of years. He's a great lad, smashing lad, really, really good attitude, very professional, and you know, he'll do well here, because he's the kind of player I think Bowes need now when the Pats have got a little bit of a grip in the game. And
they're making another change. Coming in is Kevin O'Reilly, a left back, can play centre back as well. Another one of the former Cherry Orchard crew.
Yeah, Kevin looks like he's gone on the left centre back.
Attack it is the call. Tara Burns got his head on it, but Bowes sends it down the park, hooked away. Edegun knocks it down to Burns. Really good stuff by Dobbin. Spain. McCormick tries to get on the end of it and does. Controls it really well as well. McCormick picked out his teammate, but he couldn't do much with it, Sean Madden. Well, whoever wins or loses, it doesn't matter. Both of these teams have really earned their Christmas turkey.
I think there's am I right in thinking there's a Champions League spot place for the winners?
Free kick rolled into the path of Jay Critty. Gavin Malloy. Platten. Well won back by St. Pat's. Here's Dobbin. Plays it off Feeney. Comes to Malloy. Feeney and Malloy do look quite similar. Malloy with a lovely ball through. But Kelly didn't quite read it. Also there was Jake Moylan.
Yeah, it's asking a lot of Kelly at this stage of the game. You know, he's putting a great shift. He took a knock there earlier as well. He looks a little bit rusty now. I'd say it's been a really good shift. Didn't look like he was going to be able to get after that through ball.
Burns trying to get away from Moylan. Shifts it past Feeney, still going. Just taking off his left. Good play from Colin Conroy. Shane Keegan will be pleased to see a Leishman out there. Ben McCormack trying to get away from Feeney. Turns inside. Waiting in the middle and plenty of space is Jamie Whelan. Doesn't come to him though. Conway. Spain. Malloy has his jersey tugged there by Spain. That's a free kick. Burns hoists it into the box. Cleared well. Oh, two players collide there. Let's hope they're okay.
There's been a clash of heads. Geez, I hope they are okay.
Yeah, it was Dennis Smith and Mayo Anna Mashahan. Well, the primary thing and the only thing that matters is that both players are okay, but they'll give them as long as they need. The two of them were incredibly brave in going for it. Neither of them taking their own personal safety into the consideration there when they just went for that ball and attacked that ball. Shows you everything you need to know about these players and these teams. They put their body on the line and the whole lot.
We're at that stage now where, you know, you're quite right in what you're saying. Bravery in their own box defending. I would think now both managers are going to look for players to be brave in getting on the ball in the middle of the pitch. Players being brave in the final third. It's a time where now you're looking for somebody who can become a hero for one of these two teams and make a special Christmas for themselves and for the club.
Yeah, even more special, I suppose, winning this game, because it gives you a place in the UEFA Youth League in the 2021-2022 season, the Champions League equivalent for that age.
Yep, nice prize. It's a nice Christmas present. It's something not every young player will get an opportunity to do in their career. So, and nobody wants to make a mistake at this stage of the game either. So it'll be a tense, nervous last 15 minutes or so, I think. But there is the opportunity there for somebody to become a hero.
Well, the two players that collided are sitting up, and that's a very good sign. And as I say, the referee Kevin O'Sullivan will give them as long as they need.
They've both been excellent for Bows tonight. Both Smith and Mayo, really solid games, both of them defensively. Good 1v1s. Mayo covered very well in the first half on a number of occasions. Covered his teammate at centre back, Crilly, who's also done really well. Bows have defended really well from the start of the game. They pressed Pats really well. Didn't give Pats much time or space. Compacted in the middle of the pitch. Allowed Pats to go outside, which was Pats' main, I think, their main threat in the first half. Give a lot of credit to Bows because they were on the back foot for the last probably 15-20 minutes of the first half, and in fairness to them, you know, they've come out in the second half, got the reward with the goal, controlled it for maybe 15-20 minutes, and then it's you know, the pattern of games a lot of the time is, particularly at this age, and you've got a spell where you're in control, and then you've got a spell where the opposition come into the game, and that's the nature of this, particularly younger players, because consistency is probably not the strongest point of players at, you know, at this age, because you've got to remember a lot of these players out here 16, 17, some of them. You mentioned Colin Conroy played last night, Kyle Conway, another young player, so I think he's in trouble.
I think they have to change both
I think Dennis Smith is definitely in trouble. Anyway, he doesn't seem to be moving too well. I reckon there's a bit of concussion there.
Let's hope he's okay. He's walking off, which is a good sign. But that's where my medical expertise ends. So look, best of luck to him. Dennis Smith, he's put in a shift tonight, hasn't he?
He's been excellent.
Really good.
Yeah, no, he's been excellent. He's a really good game. He looks a bit shook there now, to be honest. And obviously, you know, with current medical advice over the last number of years, concussions you can take no chances if there's any suspicion that player has concussion. He's got to go. And it's unfortunate for him, but you can be very proud of his evening's work here, because he's really impressed me. But unfortunately, his night's come to an end, and it's not looking too good for Big Mayo either. He's been examined by the medical team there, and you can be guaranteed they'll take no chances.
Well, Precious Omachir will come in for Dennis Smith. Of course, he's been part of the first team for Bohemians.
Yeah, I think Mayo's okay. He seems to be moving a little bit better anyway, than Dennis Smith was, and I think he's going to continue.
So in or around 5 minutes that took, so that will be added on at the end. So we'll have at least 5 minutes of injury time, plus a little more for subs and all that jazz. Well, they are going to make a double substitution, so Mayo looks like he's going off. Looks like Aaron Doran, who scored last night.
Yeah, they're down to 9 men though. But if they put the ball out wisely to allow the changes to be made, but
so an enforced double substitution, and that will be something they hope will freshen things up, but it's not a choice.
You can see there Mayo doesn't want to come off, but
Gavin just said safety first.
Yeah,
great call.
Yeah,
good management.
no,
brilliant
absolutely.
management. Didn't take any. He actually looked like he could.
Yeah,
play on,
you've got to err on the side of caution. And
he was playing well, and he's an important player.
Yeah.
So for the Bohemians management to make
Deserve
that call,
credit,
that deserves a lot of praise. Here's Burns. That's cleared. Feeney got back.
I'm just trying to see what way Bows have reshuffled here, because they've lost. Well, Thomas Considine's gone in at right back, which would be a natural enough position for him to play in. And it looks like, I think it's Gavin Malloy has gone in at centre back. Is it? No, it's
Feeney.
Adam Feeney's gone.
They look alike.
Yeah, they do.
They look incredibly alike. It would be misleading to say there's 8 minutes to go, because we had such a long stoppage. Probably more like 13, 14.
I think we're on a bit of overtime tonight. Hopefully,
potentially extra time and penalties.
Yeah, we might get another 45 minutes.
You'd all your Christmas shopping done anyway, didn't you?
Done since
what did
January.
you get me?
Done since January. I couldn't tell you that, then it wouldn't be a surprise.
I love surprises, you know that. Did you get me a best of League of Ireland Weekly from TV3, the good old days of yourself and Trevor Welsh?
I wouldn't do that.
I'd watch that on loop on DVD.
I wouldn't put people through that. No, wouldn't do that.
Yourself, King, or Trevor. What a combo. Here's Ben McCormack. Tried to keep it under his control, but lost it, and it's a throw into Bohemians. Shepherding that one out of play was Considine. At this time of year, UCD would be that bit quieter anyway, but it's bizarre when you walk around the campus now, given the COVID times.
Yeah.
The only noise you hear is from the pitches. Paul, you were always fit and able to play. For guys like me, those cages out the back there for football, they were a nightmare. There was no let up. You couldn't just hoof it out of play. It was always in play.
I don't know who told you I was that fit now.
Well, you had the skills at the very least. Keeley. Really well controlled by McCormack. Considine dispossesses Robinson. Robinson is a little bit loose there. A yellow card, yeah.
Fired challenge by Robinson. Knew he couldn't get back. Cynical, taking down Considine. It's far away from his own goal, so he won't be too worried about that. I think Thomas maybe a little bit of cramp there now. This stage in the game, he's put in a really good shift as well. Thomas playing wide right in the first half. You can see him there; he's in trouble. It's not nice when you cramp up. No, it's not a nice feeling at all. I can lay testament to that. So my being fit goes out the window there in one go. Shane. Thomas, in fairness, he's put in a really good shift. He's probably covered more ground than any other player here today, particularly in the first half when he was playing as a wide right. Put in a really good shift. You can see Mayo is still a little bit disappointed down there on the Bohemians dugout below us that he's had to come off, but he said the medical team and the Bohemians management made the right call on that. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, no messing around there, no taking chances. Good to see.
I'm not sure if they've any subs left. Have they? Can they make more changes there? They've supposed to Jack Funge. Yeah, they still have Jack Funge who can go on, I presume. I'm not too sure what the ruling is on stoppages in the game and the amount of stoppages you can make. I would assume, particularly with the fitness of the players, that they should be allowed limited stoppages at this stage of the season. With what's gone before in the season, thankfully anyway, Thomas Considine seems that he's okay to continue.
Ball's good direct. Feeney can only find Burns. He wasn't looking for him, but that's what he found. Platten tries to play one in behind, but it's well cut out, well read. He was a little bit tight to the sideline there, trying to play a ball over the top, and went out for a throw-in. What is the bed? Or at the very least 10 minutes left. But you do get the feeling next goal wins, if we get a next goal. Platten. Over the top it goes. They're looking for Edegun. Wins the throw-in. Here's Dara Burns. Edegun shields it really well. Great ball. Whelan had a look up. Now it's McCormack. McCormack outside. Here's Robinson. Goal kick.
Good play. Heavy touch by Robinson. He looks tired now. It's the challenge a minute ago on Considine looked like a tired challenge. Heavy touch there. Safe. Probably feeling the exertions of the evening, because he put in a really good first half. Worked really hard. Got his goal. But does look a little bit tired now.
Well, it's a good pitch, but at this time of year, the conditions do just take it out of you that bit more. The pitch slightly heavier, obviously, than it would be in the summer, but still in good nick, as you can see. Here's Kelly being chased by Madden, who wins the race. Kelly pulls up there.
Up again, yeah. He's been struggling since he took that knockout Shane 20 minutes ago.
Over the top it goes. They were looking for Robinson, but didn't find him. St. Pat's making a change, coming in Owen O'Neill. An attacker signed from Longford. Jamie Moore is going for this.
It's Kyle Robinson gone off there for O'Neill to come on, getting fresh legs up front. I think Robinson was. I think he'd run his race, to be honest.
Picked up a yellow a couple of minutes ago as well, so
yeah,
you don't want to take chances. He left it all out there. You can't see him at the moment, but he's walking off. He looks absolutely jaded, and that's not a criticism. He really has, as you say, Paul, left it all out there.
He got his goal. He's put in a real good shift, and if he's run his race, he's run his race. You need to just make changes at this stage.
Keeper has to be careful, and he was being chased down by the fresh legs of Owen O'Neill. Ball in behind. Is he offside? No, he's not. Moylan, yes, he is. A dramatic pause from the official. Edegon controls it. Oh, he was unlucky. Millimeters in it, but it did go out. He did really well there, Aaron Doran. Doran again. Wins that second ball well. That's one to fight for. Over the top from Platten. Oh, he just misdirected it. It was a tired clearance.
I think you're going to see lots of them in the last 7-8 minutes or so here remaining. And it'll be tough on the players if they've got to go to extra time, which is looking more and more likely now. It's going to be very, very demanding and very punishing on players who've started the game and have put in a good 90 minutes and then have to go another half hour. It's going to be really, really testing on them.
6 minutes, I thought there'd be more. Forward it goes from Conroy. It's almost time to tell us who your man of the match is. You can have another minute or two to think about it, Paul. Ball over the top, cut out there by Jay Crilly. Pats tried to win it back and do. Conway. Conway squares it. Jamie Whelan. Whelan gives it to Conway. Conway tries to pick out Dobbin. Will it sit up for Dobbin? It will. Cut out. One back wonderfully well. That's Conway. Spain. Spain to feet. Good ball. Dobbin is outside, but Owen O'Neill has a run, and I'm not sure whether he won the corner or whether he won the throw in.
I think it's goal kick, is it?
Yeah, well, they've given a goal kick. I have to say, I thought it was a corner.
Now we've got another player struggling here with a cramp. I think it's Crilly for Bohemians. He's just had a little bit of a limp there and a feel of the hamstring. He may be okay, but he's still in a little bit of trouble, I think.
Header won strongly. Just gets away from McCormack. Outside it goes from Considine. Rolled out by Conroy. Strong tackle. Pats are playing with a bit of pace. They want to get this done. They've had the bulk of the possession and territory in the last while, but they haven't really created
there hasn't been a
chances.
There hasn't been a clear-cut chance. I think Jamie certainly played his hand now, bringing on the two big lads up front. Lots of pace now in the attack, but whether they can utilise that pace in the remaining few minutes, it remains to be seen. It's all the hallmarks now going to extra time anyway.
Sean Madden puts it into the stand. Bowes controlling it around the middle. Lifted over the top for Kelly, who's found another lease of life. Kelly! Oh, he's desperately unlucky. That was a really good effort. Platten. Crilly. Out it goes to Umacher, who controls it well. He gave it to Conroy. Conroy, not accurate enough.
Fantastic effort by Kelly, wasn't it? Really, really unlucky. Comes back off the upright. Keeper beating all ends up. That's the sign of a really good player that can hang in for that length of time. He's been struggling around the pitch, but gets a half a sniff at goal. And the width of the post is, the difference between him being the hero and not being.
Ben McCormack. Whelan. Edegon controls it. He's dispossessed. Moylan. Doran's route to goal was blocked. Whelan. Pats press up on numbers. I think that's Dara Burns on that far side. Dara Burns puts in the cross. Gets away from O'Neill, but not McCormack. Straight at the goalkeeper, but it is a free kick to Pats.
I tell you, I think the referee was a little bit fortunate there because he blew that whistle very, very early. Now it was a free kick. I think he'd blown the whistle already. I mean, if he scores there, what does the referee do?
Well, luckily for him, he doesn't have to think about that now.
He definitely was a little bit premature with his call there, I feel. So I think he was bailed out really by the fact that Pats didn't score, because he would have had a decision to make.
Ben McCormack standing over this one. He could go for it direct from there. Might take a clip or something on the way in. Although it does look a little tight from that angle. McCormack, well dealt with by the keeper. Strong fists. No one up there to chase after that for Bulls. Keeley. Edegon is the target, doesn't reach him. Paul, I think it might be a case of hanging on until the end of extra time to decide your man of the match, unless we get a goal in the next minute or two.
I think, if somebody in mind at the minute, but that could change if we do go to extra time, so we'll hold on for
Here's Dobbin.
a couple of minutes.
It's a low cross and it's cut out. Bulls are bailing water at the moment. Dobbin. Spain has a look up. Goes low. Dobbin. Dobbo as they call him. Spain again. Cut out. We will go to extra time in the SSE AIRTRICITY League Under 19 final. 1-1 the score after 90 minutes. Paul Ozam, what did you make of it?
Credit to Bowles, I think, is the first thing to say, because I thought they were dead and buried at half time. They recharged themselves at half time. Great credit to the manager. Came out, they got the just rewards in that first 15-minute spell. Pats weathered it, came back into the game. I thought Kyle Conway done really well for Pats when they needed somebody to put their foot in the ball, along with Jamie Whelan in the middle of the park. They both done really well. Pats drove on, as you said, didn't create great chances. Had a little few chances, maybe, but poor decision making in the final third, poor executions in the final third, deprived them of getting a really good opportunity. But look, the game has gone to extra time now. And I have to be honest with you, I feel for the players, because they're dropping like flies out there. We can look down to just to the side here, and we can see two Bohemians players being treated for cramp. So it's going to be a long night for the players this last half hour, and I really do feel for them.
Well, stay with us, because we've got extra time and penalties if they're required to come at full time in the SSE AIRTRICITY League Under 19 final. It is Bohemians 1, St. Pat's 1. Stick with us. We will be back with extra time. Paul Ozan will rejoin us in a second when he's finished pouring the tea for Aoife and the crew and myself as well. I'll have 2 sugars and milk, Paul, if you please. We're underway. Extra time. It is the SSE Airtricity League Under-19 final. Bows against St. Pat's. The second half was, I won't say not as good as the first, but it certainly was more of a battle than a free-flowing match. Bohemians on the attack. Moylan has a look up, might have gone for a shot, instead try to slip it inside to Kelly, comes outside to Platten, and that is skies. Paul, who has the advantage going into extra time, or is there any such thing?
Well, under these circumstances, the fittest team, or the team who has exerted the least amount of energy throughout the game, and I would think that that's Pat's.
That's a true ball. They're in 1-on-1. It's Kelly! It's a great save from Keeley, who got a strong hand to it.
Absolutely top-class goalkeeping. Great run by Kelly. You can see he stayed on side, but what Keeley does really well is he stays tall. He doesn't go to the ground. He makes the player make the decision first, and it gives him an opportunity to make the save. Top class goalkeeping to keep us side in the game. Great opportunity for both.
How unlucky has Kelly been, denied by a brilliant save there, denied by the woodwork in injury time at the end of normal time. Scored the goal that has taken us to extra time. That came early enough in the second half, the 51st minute. The opening goal, by the way, came from Kyle Robinson in the 33rd minute. Corner comes in. Keeley gets a strong hand on that one again. I think it came at him by surprise. Chasing after it is Aaron Doran, and it's a Bohemians throw-in. Moylan's corner almost catching out St. Pat's there.
Done well again, Keeley. Came at him quickly. Good reflexes. He's developed into a really, really good goalkeeper. Always had huge potential. He's got a lot more consistency in his game over the last number of years, and he's doing really, really well.
Promise on a chair. Keeley behind it again and catches the rebound as well. Long ball over the top for Tara Burns to chase. Look at that scintillating pace. The ball does beat him, but it just goes to show how quick he is.
He's a fit lad, Dara. You know, he's played up in the first team, trained with the first team. You can see that, you know, the little bit of extra strength and pace and power. I'm looking at Adam Feeney there, who's gone in at centre back, and he looks to be struggling a little bit. His running is a little bit laboured. You know, so hopefully he doesn't fall a cropper to the dreaded cramp.
I was told Tara Burns is from Stamullen, but the person who told me didn't want to commit to whether or not that was Meath or Louth. I think it depends on what part of Stamullen you're from. He's now a Northern Ireland underage international. Here's Edegun. Defender got across, and that defender was Jay Crilly. Dobbin will take the throw in. Goes shortish. Playing it neat kind of 1-2. Kevin O'Reilly onto it there. Here's Edegun. Now can he turn? Dobbin lifts it in. Back post. Keeper did well despite the attentions of Owen O'Neill. Nothing too scientific about that, just pumped down the park, and why not? Trying to get away as Doran. Almost did as well. Owen O'Neill. McCormack follows it, wants to get it back. Chipped in behind, but it was a little bit aimless, and Feeney will just walk that back. Well, I was going to say to his keeper, but the keeper happy enough to let it roll out over the line.
I think both teams, if you offer them penalties at this stage, I think they take them. You know, it's going to be a grueling 25 minutes for both sets of players. Nobody wants to make a mistake in a game of this importance. So I think you'll see, you know, you won't see I don't think you'll see players rushing too many things now. Oisin in extra time, they'd be quite content just to see the game out. No one wants to make a mistake. I don't think you'll see too many players being committed forward. You're looking at Pats there. They've got Whelan and Kyle Conway just sitting in the middle of the pitch.
Going down was Jake Quilly under pressure from O'Neill. It's a free kick. Flicked down by Gavin Malloy. Up in the air, but backwards from Dobbin. Malloy finds its way to Conroy. Pushed out to promise so much air. Tries to run onto the ball that he kind of played to himself. If that makes sense, the cross is in, but cut out. Falls to Malloy. It was stinging, but it was a little bit high.
Yeah, it's worth a pop. Good strike, difficult to keep that down. You could see on Shirley's pace there. You know, he took on he took on the left back there.
Sean Madden,
and Sean has had a really good game, and he showed good pace there against a really quick player at this stage of the game.
Moore just going direct with these kickouts now. Goal kicks, I should say. On the overlap there is Platten. They don't go to him. It's got to be tidied up by Dobbin. Edegun is the target. Curly got to it, and as you can tell, one of the Pats players not too pleased that he's putting so much on it.
About 80 quid a pop, them balls, aren't they?
Well, they are expensive. If only all players were so conscious about the expense of playing football. Dobbin finds Edegun. Back to Dobbin. Turning and twisting is Conway. Out to Dobbin. The captain Dobbin keeps it low. Good stuff from Conway. Oh, he's just dispossessed. Running onto it now is Conroy. Throw into St. Pat's, which will be taken by Dobbin. Jamie Moore wants it to go into the box. Moore is fighting for it and wins it back. I think he's won the free kick there.
He's a bit fortunate to get a free kick there. I didn't see anything untoward from any of the Bohemians players, but it's giving Pats an opportunity to get the ball into the box, which has been rare really in the extra time to date.
Here's Dara Burns. Dara Burns capable of first class delivery. I jinxed him. Burns, he'll take this one on. Can he use his pace to open it up? Gets a shot away, it's blocked. And they go on the counter attack, Bohemians. Kelly is probing on the shoulder of the last defender. Inside it goes to Doran. Madden, despite the protestations of handball. Pats on the counter attack. Lifted over the top. Edegun is the target. Keeps it in play, but now at a tight angle. Good work by Edegun. Gets his shot away straight at the keeper. Not bad from the Kilkenny man who was signed from Waterford.
Yeah, he done well again. Decision, tight angle, maybe served him better to cut it back. You know, he's every right to have a shot from there. He's done really well. To get into the position himself, so you know we won't fault him with that too much.
That One's a little bit lower, that kick out. Helped on by Moylan. Success Edegon. Getting it away from him was Platten. Moylan. Kelly's in the middle. Moylan with a lot of players between him and the goal. I think that's Madden who got across. Comes off Edegon's chest. He's giving away the throw-in. Platten to take it. Header as well won, but Pat's able to get it clear. Just about kept in by Platten. That's a risky enough and pacey ball back to the defence. Considine has to try and get away from Burns. He did really well to turn and go at Pats at pace. Brilliant work. Lovely run by Considine. Moylan. Needed to go outside rather than in, and Pats get it away. Here's Owen O'Neill. Gets inside one. Has to go himself here. Feeney gets it away. Considine. Home a chair. Really good work from Kevin O'Reilly, who stood up. Play on, says the referee. Gavin Malloy. Doran. Doran goes wide. Here's Moylan. Moylan brings it into the right boot, but again just showed too much of it to the St. Pat's defence.
It's very open now, we're seeing it's end to end. It's attack, you attack, we attack. You know, it's players are really tired. The game's really opened up, lots of spaces on the pitch.
Just as Crilly got his last touch on the ball there, you can see him kind of jogging rather gingerly. He looked like he winced a bit, but he will play on. These guys will go through the pain barrier. Here is Doran, who put Rovers through the pain barrier last night. What a run that is by Doran. Just ran out of room in the end. Malloy tries to win it back, but getting away from him is Ben McCormack. Well done, Gavin Malloy, for getting back to win that ball. Edegon. Whelan. McCormack slips. Referee says no foul. Kelly is the target, but it's cut out. That'll probably get away from Platten, and does. Pat's with the man down. That's off camera at the moment.
It's actually looking out there. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Pats players all stretching with different ailments in their lower limbs, which is to be expected. A few Bowls players as well doing the same thing. So punishing on the bodies.
Lots of encouragement coming in from the managers. Gavin Tian, you can see, clapping and cheering these players on. Jamie Moore having a word. He was talking to Success Edegon. At this time, or at this stage of a match, it tends to be more kind of generalised encouragement than tactics, doesn't it?
Yeah, you know, it's been a long life for coaches as well. It's not easy. Trying to look after the team for 90 minutes, let alone when it goes into extra time as well. In a game, it's important. So, you know, they earn their corner as well as players do. But you're right. You're just about keeping the lads going now at this stage of the game, keeping the minds focused, ensuring that you know your concentration levels stay as high as they can.
Well, Gloria Nzingo is about to come in for St. Pat's. He's a really attack-minded player, plenty of pace. International Player of the Year as well. Edegon crosses it, but to no one. Feeney has so much time to clear it. And if you were trying, you couldn't have landed it where he tried to land it. He got it right inside the fourth official's little hut there. Back it goes to Dobbins. We may have 30 seconds to a minute or so of injury time at the end of extra time. Platten just kind of in a very tired way gets it out over the line. Owen O'Neill wanted to take the throw in. Instead, he will give it to Daniel Dobbin. Dobbin. Ben McCormack back to Dobbin. Dobbin has a look up. That's a really clever pass. The shot is off target. He was unlucky, Ben McCormack. Just didn't quite get his boot around it. Yeah, 1 minute of injury time to be played at the end of the first half of extra time.
It's not a bad effort by Ben on his unfavoured side. A little bit of tiredness, I think, in the effort. It's a fair bit wide, but he's entitled to have a dig, I suppose, from there.
Well, they have left it all out there this evening. Whoever wins this will really have earned it. Whoever loses it will be desperately unlucky and unfortunate. Here's Feeney. Cannons off O'Neill. Edegon wins it back really well. No handball, says the referee. He squares that to McCormack. Chip in behind. He's aiming at O'Neill, but it's cut out. Moylan. For O'Neill to chase. Half time of extra time. It remains as it was at the end of normal time, 1-1. Paul, what are you making of all this?
Not a lot, to be honest. It's poor football at this stage, but I didn't expect any more. You know, it's been very, very punishing on both teams. It's littered with mistakes at this stage, which you only have to expect. The players are not only physically fatigued, they're also mentally very fatigued. The game is extremely open. You know, there's been chances, both ends, half chances. If you're looking at it as a spectacle now, it's gone. It's just a bit of a case of now somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose.
It's an arm wrestle now, isn't it?
It is really, yeah. It actually reminds me of a game of basketball where it's just end to end. It's you attack, we attack, you attack, we attack, and whoever is lucky enough to get a goal will most likely win it. But I don't like seeing games settled on penalties, but I have a feeling if this one is won, it'll be by, you know, it'll be a mistake by somebody rather than good individual play or good team play. Because
you can see it there, can't you? The fatigue of those boys who have given so much tonight.
Yeah, well, you're looking at Promise there. You know, Promise has played in the first team. Obviously, he's only come on in the second half here. You'd be looking and hoping. You'd be just hoping as the coach, maybe just give you something. You know, maybe just give you something in extra time. One little bit of magic, one burst of pace. Same Aaron Doran. Aaron's more than capable. I know he played last night, but he's got that ability to do it. Pats, on the other hand, they've got pace and power up front. Maybe not an awful lot of guile now at this stage. So it's hard to see where a goal will be created, other than maybe a mistake, which you don't like to see either. So penalties might be the best way to settle it.
Conway's ball goes harmlessly wide from a Bohemians point of view. Edegon, who's got that kind of freshness about him, only having come off the bench. He'll have a go straight at the goalkeeper.
Good powerful run, good direct run. Got in, got a good shot away, but straight at the keeper. Didn't really work him, but that's the kind of thing you look for. That's pace, power at this stage of the game, and he's got that ability to do that. Promise O'Leary has that ability to do that. Probably Owen O'Neill as well up front for Pats.
Second ball won by Bowes. It was won by Doran, but sent away by Pats. Feeney got his head on it, but it kind of came back towards him very, very quickly indeed. Here's Owen O'Neill. O'Neill rolls it inside to McCormack. McCormack gets the shout. Can't complete the pass. Pats win it back though. Lovely play by Dobbins. Can they get a cross in, or even a shot in? Well blocked. It was Dara Burns attempting to shoot. Bohemians win the free kick. Cian Moore. The Bulls have had the only real chance of extra time so far. Keeley forced into a magnificent save from Colin Kelly. Colin Kelly desperately unlucky not to have won it for Bowes in normal time as well. Cracking the woodwork with a magnificent shot very late on. Came off the post. Madden gives that plenty of air. It's cut out, it'll be another throw-in. Gavin Teehan encouraging his team, just saying well done, excellent, keep playing. We are now going to see Nzingo coming in for St. Pat's. If you're a tiring defence, he is exactly the player you do not want to see. Here is Burns. Madden. A little bit loose, intercepted by Considine. Pressurised by O'Neill. Back it went to Conroy. Goalkeeper has to be careful. McCormack chased, but much to the keeper's credit, he got it away. St. Pat's making a change, coming off Jamie Whelan. Coming in, Glory and Zingo.
Done well, Whelan did. Particularly in the second half, when the game was slipping away from Pats, I felt himself and Colin Conway were outstanding in getting their team back into the game. He's been replaced by Glory now, again, a player of immense potential. You could get anything from Glory here. He's the ability to score a hat-trick in the last 10 minutes here.
His reputation precedes him, as we say, a really attack-minded player, full of tricks.
He's an inconsistent player, but you got to remember he's only a young boy as well.
Yep.
He's 15, 16 years of age at most, but when he's on song, he's unplayable. He's absolutely fantastic.
St. Pat's with the free kick. In it goes. Here's Nzingo. Just couldn't set his feet. They'll get a second chance. O'Neill scuffed it. He was unlucky here. Just wouldn't quite fall to him. Well, it did, but if you know what I mean, he couldn't set it up for himself.
Lots of bodies around him as well. Look at Bowes still defending really, really well. 7 players around the ball in the box. I tell you, Gavin be very, very happy with his players tonight. You know, no matter what happens between now and the next 15 minutes, he's got to be really happy with his players.
Cian Moore goes long. It's a kneed away by O'Reilly. Spain. And Zingo. Burns.
I suppose the managers got to be thinking now about penalties as well. I'm sure they've preempted the possibility, and they'll have their penalty takers at the ready.
Well, 2020 has thrown everything at us, so why not extra time and penalties? It's so good to be able to enjoy football, and hopefully the SSE AIRTRICITY League will be back early enough in the new year. I know fans are really looking forward to it. Hopefully it won't be long after that fans get in. Obviously that's not a discussion for now, but it's an honour to be here tonight to watch this, because I know there's a lot of people who are watching our coverage who can't be here and who would love to be here. Here's Madden. Pats go long. Cherry. Dispossessed by Burns, tried to win it back, much to his credit he did. Here's Doran. Feeney. Dobbins. Scarpering back is Platten. Comes the way of Moylan. There might be something on for Bowes here. They've got numbers pressing on. That's a waste. But understandable. Guys are tired at this stage.
It's a poor decision again. You know, Collie should be really doing better in areas like that. Final third, lots of options, but as is often the case, the decisions that players make, particularly you know, in intense circumstances like this is often the wrong one.
Strong header by Crilly, but a good challenge and a fair one by McCormack. Tried to do the same again, but beaten to it on this particular occasion. That's wonderful play. Omacheri again, Jay Crilly. Knocked down by Moylan. Dobbins. Free kick for St. Pat's. Well, the Bohemians' first team this year unlucky to go out of the Europa League on penalties. What a performance that was away in Hungary. The co-commentator on that night was Derek Pender. Last night he watched his under-17s beat Shamrock Rovers in the final. Can they follow it up with an under-19s title tonight, or will it be St. Pat's?
There's another two down with cramp.
One from each team. Great sportsmanship there. Feeney helping Edegon up. I think he took a knock because he wouldn't be on long enough to have picked up cramp.
Well, you would hope not, you know, if he's cramping up after.
Well, you never know though, because guys have weirdly played a lot but played a little in the last while, if that makes sense. They've had to cram a lot of training in since the restart, but not many games. Another change being made by St. Pat's. They'll have to wait for the next stoppage in play. Ugo Ani Inkwe is going to come in, a very, very quick winger. Pace is probably what you want out there at the moment. Owen O'Neill ran out of room. That one looked like it was flying towards us.
Good reflexes there, O'Shane.
Oh, I threw myself out of the way. I said, if this is hitting anyone, it's not going to be me.
Well, the substitute was coming off.
Yeah, Edegon. So he must have picked up a knock, and coming in is Ugo Ani Inkwe. Can play on the right or the left. Away it goes. Miscue the header there by Conroy. Free kick won by Bowes. Well, this one has gone a little longer than planned this evening, but no good Christmas specials this year anyway. 2020, sure, they couldn't make any. That looked like it could have been awkward. Just long spinning ball from Feeney, but again, Keeley did well. Made a magnificent save at the start of extra time from the boot of Colin Kelly. Seems like such a long time ago now since that equaliser in the 51st minute from Kelly. Robinson had put St. Pat's up after 33 minutes. Here's Dara Burns. Dara Burns getting his cross in. Dealt with very well. Malloy doesn't get anything on that. Is that a penalty? Yes, it is. Well, I thought we were going to penalties, but it turns out we may only need the one. Malloy tangling with Ben McCormack.
For me, it's not a penalty. I've got to be honest. I think there was a minimum contact. He's given the penalty. He's not going to change his mind now. But I think if the old VAR was in operation here, that'd be overruled. I didn't think it was a penalty at all. It's very, very harsh. on Bohemians. Really harsh, I would feel, and it's sucker punching them, but I have to say I don't think it was a penalty.
It's Dara Burns to take it. It's a pressure kick. Burns against Moore. Burns surely to win it if he scores. Burns rolls it home, and it looks like St. Pat's are going to win the SSE AIRTRICITY League Under-19 final. A late and controversial penalty from Burns has them in front.
Yeah, it's a great penalty. He just waits till the keeper dives. Keeper went early, kept his composure, Dara, and it's rolled in. Really, really good penalty. Really calm, confident penalty. And look, it could have won his side the game. But I've got to say, I didn't think it was a penalty. Very, very harsh on Bohemians. Defended really, really well. All night, limited opportunities to Pats, and it's cruel, I think. But look, that's football.
Is there one last twist in this? Can Bows get an equaliser? Well, to be fair to Dara Burns, he doesn't care whether or not it was an actual penalty. It was awarded, and it was his job to stick it away. That he did. They've gone direct. It bounces back to Keeley, who falls on it and will waste a few seconds. Keeley taking all the time in the world. Promise so much air closes them down. We're into the last minute of extra time. Considine just pumps it long. Over the top it goes. Keeley minds it all the way, and again does his fault. Paul, it's time to start thinking about man of the match. Well, it's time to tell me who your man of the match is. I suppose you've been thinking about it all along.
Yeah, look, no, I don't think anybody's really been outstanding for either side. It's not really been a game for somebody that nobody has took by the scruff of the neck. There've been good performances on both teams. I think for Bohemians, certainly Thomas Considine was outstanding. Really, really good for Bohemians. But I think for me, purely on it because of a stage when his team really needed him, I think Kyle Conway is the man of the match for me in that period of time. Early on in the second half, when Pats needed somebody to grab the game, get control of the game, I thought he was outstanding. He controlled the tempo of the game, got his team back into the game, got Pats playing again, and got them to get a really good grip in the game. But I think Thomas Considine, as I said, would be unlucky, but I'm going to give the man of the match to Kyle Conway.
Kyle Conway is the man of the match. St. Patrick's Athletics, number 7. They'll keep it in the corner for the next while if they can. Is that not a minute? No, says one of the Pats players to the 4th official. Worth chancing your arm. 10 seconds to go. They have this corner kick, which will in no way, shape or form go long. Holding it in the corner is Ben McCormack. Bohemians desperate to get it back. It's another corner. Surely this is it. The full-time whistle is blown, and St. Patrick's Athletic are the SSE AIRTRICITY League Under-19 champions. An exciting ending to the game. St. Pat's with a late penalty, controversially awarded but well taken by Burns. St. Pat's get the win. Paul Ozam, are they deserving of their win?
It's certainly not under the circumstances that they won it. I know we've been speaking about penalties for the last 10 minutes. Well, probably didn't anticipate it would be one penalty that would win the game. And what he worthy of over the 2 hours of football we've seen, possibly just a better side. Didn't control the game for a long enough period, so in my opinion, to win the game in normal time or even in extra time. Very fortunate, I think, to get the penalty. Feel really, really sorry for Bohemians, because I thought they were gone at half time. They came out in the second half, different team. I think the manager deserves a huge amount of credit for his conduct on the sideline as well, and looking after the players' welfare. He's there with his players now on the feet. He's not been at the referee. I think if it was me, I'd be at the referee over the penalty, possibly. But that's the kind of fella Gavin is. He's a good, decent, honest lad, and he can be very, very proud of his players tonight. But you've got to give credit to Pats as well, because they've won the game. They're under 19 league champions. They've qualified for the UEFA Youth competition, the equivalent of Champions League. So you've got to give them credit as well. They've won a game of football, which is what the game is about at the end of the day. So yes, did they deserve it? I don't think so, but they've won it. So credit to them, and they'll be happy with themselves. They'll celebrate. But if I was a Bohemians player, I'd be holding my head very high as well, because I thought they were excellent. Thought they really dug in a stage of the game when they could have been gone. They really could have been gone. They looked really fatigued. They got some energy from somewhere. They got a good goal with Kelly, and they controlled it for a while. But as I said, then Pats came back, and I really think Kyle Conway and Jamie Whelan in midfield were magnificent for Pats during that period where they were under the cosh. They got them back playing, and went on. And look, as I say, they've won the game, and credit to them, credit to Jamie and his staff. And good luck to them. But hope Bows enjoy the Christmas, the players as well, and the staff, because it takes two teams to get to a final, and they were really good, and unlucky to lose in the manner they did.
You can see it there, the Bows players standing around each other. Gavin Teehan was talking to them, he was giving them encouragement, he was no doubt saying something along the lines of, well done tonight lads, proud of your efforts. And that was a great point you raised there. He didn't give out to the officials at the end of the game, when a lot of managers would be tempted to do so. And he also was first over to Jamie Moore and his coaching team to say congratulations. Yeah,
it speaks volumes for Gavin. As I said, I know him. He's a good lad. He's made it the right stuff. You can see the players there. You can see that they're disappointed, but you can still see as well that they've got great respect for him. They're standing there in the circle, listening to every word he's saying, and they deserve great credit, as I say. And they'll have another day, all of the players there, because they've all done themselves no harm whatsoever by their performances here today. So credit to them, and I really wish them all the best.
Well, St. Pat's celebrating, having a quiet word at the moment. Jamie Moore, the manager, now adding an under-19 title to the under-17 one that he has already won. Bows will look at a couple of chances that they had towards the end of injury time and the start of extra time, and they'll really regret them. Unfortunately for Kelly, he forced a magnificent save out of Josh Keeley, and he also hit the woodwork. That chance where he hit the woodwork coming at the end of normal time. Yeah,
fantastic bit of skill from him. It was probably the best bit of individual skill we've seen in the whole game from Kelly, and he was the width, as I say, he was the width of the post from securing victory for his team, because that was right at the end of normal time. And then, as I say, at the very start of injury time, or of extra time, Josh Keeley done magnificently well, because when you're through one-on-one like that, you're waiting for the keeper to commit himself, you're waiting for the keeper to show you one side of the goal, you're waiting for the keeper to go down, and it makes it easy for you. But what Josh Keeley done really well is he stayed standing, he stayed big, he made Kelly make the decision, and he was up to the task then to make the save. It was a magnificent save. It's not one that he pulls out of the top corner, it's not one that he flies across the goal line, but it's a really, really good save. And if you ask any goalkeeping experts, they'll tell you they're the best saves. Them ones where you're in one-on-one and you stay big for as long as you can. So he deserves great credit for that as well. But Bohemians did have two fantastic chances to win the game, and let's not forget that either.
And Keeley now adds an under-19 title to his under-17 title already won as well. Looks a very solid prospect, Josh Keeley. And we mentioned that he's from a footballing family. His brother playing for Cabinteely at the moment. It's a tough place to be for Bohemians at the moment. It's a great place to be for St. Pat's. Obviously, in the times we're living in, no one will present the trophy. The captain himself will lift it. Daniel Dobbin is the St. Pat's captain. He will give the medals to his squad members, and Kyle Conway is the man of the match as picked out by you, Paul Ozam. He deserves that award, doesn't he?
Yeah, I thought he was excellent for the period. He's a steady player. There's improvement in him, and I would have spoke a lot to him in the time I had him in with the squad. He's worked on his game. He's got great potential, and I just felt that was a critical period in the game when it was 1-1, and I just felt Kyle and Jamie Whelan were both magnificent in getting their team back into the game and dictating the play for that 10-15 minute period that got Pats back to get a real foothold in the game.
Well, without officials, there would be no football. Kevin O'Sullivan was the referee tonight. Chris Campbell, Wayne MacDonald and Alan Patchell, the rest of his team. They're getting their medals now, and largely did well, but you think they got the penalty decision wrong?
Look, I thought I said it. I think halfway through the second half or toward the end of the first half, the referee was having a magnificent game, because we hadn't spoke about him, and I think that's great when you're not talking about refereeing decisions. I don't think he got a decision wrong throughout the whole night. I felt he controlled the game really, really well. He seemed to have a really good manner with the players as well. And look, you got to make a decision on the spur of the moment. And look, it's just my opinion that he got it wrong. I didn't think it was a foul. I thought Kyle went to ground very, very easily. When I looked at it again on the replay, didn't look like there was much contact. He's got to make the decision, like, and he made the decision to give a penalty. But I will say, people give out about VAR, left, right, and centre, but I think that's a case there for VAR, because one team has been probably denied an opportunity to go through to a Champions League kind of setting by a refereeing decision. That could have been the wrong decision. And again, that's just my opinion. But if you've got the VAR situation here, then that decision's looked at, it's reviewed, and I think it would have been overruled. Yep. Well, but to get back to the referee, I thought he was magnificent, and the officials, bar that one possible mistake or error, blip, whatever you want to call it. And I'm not being critical of them. They make decisions, and you've got to live by that.
Yeah. Gavin Malloy is the man who was penalised for that penalty. He was unlucky, because certainly we've seen contact like that in the box before that where penalties haven't been awarded. I don't want to say I've seen them given, because I think that's the greatest cop out you can ever say, but in fairness, you've made your call on it. You don't think it was a penalty, but look, St. Pat's, I think it's fair to say they probably were slightly the better team, so deserved their win. Coming up to present the medals to his teammates is Daniel Dobbin, the captain, and look, we know about his talent. He trains with the first team, but some of his teammates showed what they're made of tonight, didn't they?
Yeah, I thought in the first 20 minutes or so, if Daniel had produced that kind of performance for 90 minutes plus 30 minutes for 120 minutes, he'd walked away with the man of the match award. I thought he was outstanding. But look, it's difficult to maintain that levels of fitness, the levels of the runs he was doing, the explosive runs he was doing in the first half, first 20 minutes or so. He was solid. He done really, really well. You can see why he's captain. He seems to have good character about him. He's in training with the first team. Player that I think will certainly have a future in the game going forward. Lots of other good performances. Andrew Spain was solid, steady for Pats at the back. Didn't do an awful lot wrong. Was always there when you need him. I thought Sean Madden was excellent. At left back, probably a predominantly right foot player, or he's just good with both feet, because he seemed to be able to come in on his right foot, tackle with his right foot, pass with his right foot. Thought he was excellent. Dara Burns for times showed flashes of brilliance, and then there were periods where he went missing in the game. And again, that's players at this age and probably tired as well. But really good talent. And as I said, I thought Thomas Considine for Bohemians was excellent. Yeah. He played as a right winger or a right forward, or whatever position you want to call it, in the 4-3-3 in the first half, and then he had to revert to right back, and he was equally as good in both positions. Really good performance from him, full of energy. So,
well, here comes a big moment for St. Pat's and this young squad. Paul Dobbin is the captain. Looks like he's sharing them up.
That's Keane Kelly. He was injured, yeah.
St. Patrick's Athletic are the SSE AIRTRICITY League Under-19 champions. They've really shown character and mettle this evening to get through this final and to beat a very, very decent Bohemians team. 2-1 the final score, and you can see what it means to them. Well, for St. Pat's there's joy, for Bowls there's despair. We will hear from the St. Pat's camp hopefully in a minute or two. They're obviously celebrating at the moment. No one wants to be taken away from that. Jamie Moore, the manager, a calm presence at the moment. I thought he'd be hopping up and down, but he's letting his players at it again. A great night for him, his coaching team and him. They've done really well, but that doesn't take away from Bowes, Gavin Teehan and his coaching setup, and everyone at Bowes. I mean, both of these teams can be proud of what they've done, and their clubs overall can be proud of them tonight.
Absolutely, no doubt whatsoever. And give Jamie credit. He's a great fella, very enthusiastic, really good coach. He keeps up with all the modern trends in the game. He puts in an awful lot of work. He's there. He's got really good staff. John Donoghue, Niall Cully, who two guys I know very well from being on the Elite Youth A licence recently. again, two really good fellas. So good staff there, and it's you know, there's other strength and conditioning guy there as well. So it takes more than one man, takes more than one player to be a success, and it is a team game, and it's not only the players, it's your staff, it's everything around, all the supports around the club, around the team are massively important to gain success at any level.
And fair play to Gavin Tehan, the manager of Bohemians. He just told his players to take all the empty bottles and everything away from the bench. Derek Pender did the same last night, and much to his credit, Gavin gives us a wave on his way over to the far side on a disappointing night for him. Jamie Moore is coming over with Kyle Conway. They'll both be interviewed as part of the coverage here, and I hope you have enjoyed the coverage. Thanks for watching tonight. As we say, sure, what else would you be doing? The pubs are closed. There's no other matches on that I can think of that you'd rather watch than this. So yeah, nice to have you with us. And we'll hear from Kyle, the man of the match, who's got the trophy in hand, and Jamie as well. So a nice moment for Kyle Conway and Jamie Moore, who I'm not sure is he more happy or relieved because of the nature of how the game was won. That penalty, which was rather fortunate, and I don't think he'd mind me saying that, but when the opportunity comes, you have to take it, and that's exactly what Dara Burns did, and Jamie's putting on the medal, and why not? And I think we can cross down to pitch side now, where Aoife Mullen is waiting to talk to Jamie Moore, the St. Pat's manager.
Thanks, Oisín. Yes, of course. I'm joined here by the winning manager and man of the match after what was a gruelling 120 minutes of football here. Jimmy, can you sum it up for us? An early Christmas present.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable feeling. Probably can't put into words just what the last couple of minutes is like. It's why we're involved in football. It's why we've put in so much work. The players mainly have put in so much work this year to get to a stage like this, and they just kept their belief till the final minute of extra time. We were ready for penalties if it had went that far, and once we got the penalty, I knew Dara Burns would score, and there wasn't much time left for Bowl. So I'm just so happy for these young lads. They've put in so much work this year, and they're champions of the country, and looking forward to Europe next year, which is a fantastic reward for them.
A much deserved reward, we must say. But I'm sure you were, like most of the spectators, counting down the minutes and thinking, who will the penalty takers be? So it must have been a sense of relief, I suppose, when that penalty was awarded, because Dara Burns, cool, calm, composed, he really showed his maturity, didn't he? Yeah,
he was going to be the first in the shootout. Had we got that far, if he wanted one, I think he would have. The lads have jokes in training all the time about the penalty takers, and Dara would actually be our second, but the main one, Kyle Robinson, had come off, so there was a couple of others who probably wanted it, but that's a pressure penalty. It's the last minute of the game. If he misses that, Bowles had momentum in the shootout, and then does he want one in the shootout? So yeah, he finished it well, and then Bowles sent everyone forward, and thankfully we were able to hold on for the last 90 seconds and win it in the end.
Exactly, I'm sure it was a long 90 seconds on the sideline, because Paul Ozam spoke in commentary earlier on. We were looking at the players, they were giving it their all. We could see tired legs out there in the pitch. The conditions were also kind of heavy underfoot, but we were kind of saying, even though it was difficult for players, equally as difficult for the management team, and you were trying your best to egg them on and to give encouragement from the sidelines. So from a manager's perspective, it's very nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it's stressful. It's obviously much more difficult to run. I'd say the boys would have run 12 plus more, maybe 15 kilometres tonight, possibly in extra time on a heavy pitch in December. And that was only our second game in the last 10 weeks. We played on Saturday, and before that we hadn't played for 10 weeks. So to go 120 minutes against a top team in Bowes, who played their part in a great final, it's the lads who are the ones who need the praise, because it's easy for us to shout from the sideline and stuff, but for them, they have to run, they have to work, they have to execute the plan, and they did that to perfection today.
Yeah, it really was a tough game, and as we said before, and you mentioned there, fatigue was definitely a factor. We could see that from the sideline and from the stands watching on, and that tough win, that tough game, it was a draw at the weekend, but again, you were obviously very tired after that. Coming into this game, I'm sure everyone expected that it would be tight. We had high scoring affairs during the season, 4-2 game, 5-4 another game, but I think you were probably expecting a tighter game this time around.
Yeah, absolutely. Ourselves and Bowes will be the two best teams in the country. The games we played against them this season have been very, very tight, lots of goals. I thought there might be more goals tonight, especially given the fitness levels of both teams due to the lockdowns and stuff, but in fairness to our lads, they just put in a really good shift. I didn't think we played as well as we normally would tonight, but I think given the circumstances, given the time of year, the pitch and the weather and stuff, it was a top performance, a real professional performance, and we didn't give up too many proper chances. Josh Keeley makes 1 or 2 brilliant saves, but apart from that I thought we defended quite well, and we have a couple of lads there who played today who haven't trained all week, who haven't trained in 6, 7, 8 weeks, playing through injuries for the cause of the club. So it's been a real team effort. The staff as well have been fantastic. John Donoghue, Niall Cully, Sean Fogarty and Sam Rice have just been brilliant. It's a team effort. I'm the manager, yes, but it's a team effort, and the players will tell you it's all the staff, all the players together, and I'm so happy for everybody.
Oh, sure is. And you mentioned Josh Keeley there, he was exceptional, but one other player that was exceptional, and it was tough to pick one, but Kyle Conway, man of the match. How does that feel?
Yeah, look, it's brilliant to be man of the match. It was a tough game. I thought the lads put in a great shift, like Jamie Moore said, heavy pitch, but to come out with man of the match, over the moon.
How did you feel at the final whistle, I suppose, after normal time? Were you kind of thinking, judging by the body language, I'm sure people were saying, gosh, will we go to penalties? How will we stand another 30 minutes? But you did, you were fantastic. How did you feel at the end of normal time?
It was just over the moon. Like I said, I was ecstatic. The lads throughout the whole year put in a great shift, so to get there, and even if we were to go into the 120 minutes or whatever, I know the lads have it in their time to go and get there, and towards the end we kind of felt that.
I think that confidence was echoed by all of your teammates. As you say, it's a team effort, but you didn't show any signs of waning confidence there in the extra time. You were determined, I suppose, to keep going. As we say, you marshalled very well. You were exceptional for the entire game. But what was the tone like at the end of full time, we'll say? Was it different to the half-time team talk? Because you certainly went in at the break that bit ahead. I'm sure you felt confident that the momentum was with you. Was it a different tone at the end before extra time?
It was, yeah. When the lads got the goal, like obviously it changed a bit. We had to come back and then start going up higher on the pitch and looking for another goal and to get one back. But when we got that penalty, obviously we knew Daz was going to put it away, so
that was it. Yeah, you can rely on Burns. Well, it's testament to, as we say, your maturity and the quality of your side, and that teamwork and great work ethic that you're the winners today, and going home with a very early Christmas present. I'm sure at the beginning of this year you didn't think you'd be standing here in UCD Bowl on a wet, miserable night on the 22nd of December. But well done to Kyle, well done to Jamie. Jamie has another medal around his neck now to add to his other list. Many accolades, and we spoke about those earlier on. They're well discussed by the commentary team. But that's it from a cold, wet and miserable UCD Bowl. Certainly there'll be no rain on the parade for the Saints. They're going marching out of UCD with silverware, and what a wonderful end to an absolute whirlwind of a season.
Well, that's it. The man of the match and the manager, Jamie Moore, and Kyle Conway speaking to Aoife Mullen on the sideline. It's been a great night for St. Pat's. Bows denied the chance to win 2 titles in 2 nights. They won the under-17s last night with a really good victory over Shamrock Rovers, but it wasn't to be tonight. They walk away with the trophy. Dara Burns' penalty late in extra time settling it. The goals in normal time came from Kyle Robinson. They went 1-0 up after 33 minutes. He scored for St. Pat's, and Colin Kelly equalised in the 51st minute. He was desperately unlucky not to score the winner late on. He cracked the ball off the post with a fantastic shot, and at the start of extra time he forced Keeley into a magnificent save. As the rain falls on the UCD Bowl, we will wish you good night. And the final score in the SSE AIRTRICITY League Under-19 final: Bohemians 1, St. Patrick's Athletic 2. Have a happy and safe Christmas.